Chapter 1896. Feng Jianing opened an audio and video club to sell pornographic CDs. Later, it was shut down by the Bureau of Industry and Commerce. Not only was he fined, but he was also sent to the police station. After he was released, Feng Jianing had nothing, so he turned to his high school buddy, Fan Jinja. Fan Jinja had just set up a company, so he needed someone to follow him around. It was better to use someone familiar, so he got Feng Jianing to his side. Although Feng Jianing was not very capable, he had a lot of ideas. He also helped Fan Jinja's company gain a lot of benefits. At least, Feng Jianing was good at tax evasion. Fan Jinja didn't manage to mess with Yang Ming, so he sat in the office gloomily. A while ago, not only did he have to pay a lot of money because Yang Ming made up some nonsense about a vengeful spirit, but he was also beaten up by Yang Ming's driver, Little Wang. This made Fan Jinja's anger towards Yang Ming reach the extreme. "Brother Zhe, what's wrong with you? I saw you sulking in the office all morning." "What happened?" asked Feng Jianing. "Don't mention it. I'm so unlucky." Fan Jinja shook his head. "Brother Zhe, what's the matter? Tell me and I'll help you figure it out." Feng Jianing asked, "Don't forget, my name is Feng Jianing." "Why?" "Because I can do anything." "Right, I forgot about you, the think tank." Fan Jinja nodded. "Then I'll tell you. Here's the thing. Do you remember the Yang Ming I told you about before?" "I remember." "Didn't you ask your fourth uncle's vice principal to deal with him?" "Why?" "He's not easy to deal with." Feng Jianing naturally knew about Yang Ming. He knew about the dispute between Fan Jinja and Yang Ming very well. The idea of asking his fourth uncle to deal with Yang Ming was his idea. Don't mention it. My fourth uncle didn't win against Yang Ming's godfather, Lu Weishan. He was transferred to a research institute under the school to retire." Fan Jinja shook his head. "It seems that it's impossible to deal with Yang Ming through the school. This time, his godfather will definitely be the principal. We can't do anything. This is really difficult." Feng Jianing frowned. Logically, his girlfriend should be angry after knowing about Zhao Ying. Why would she ask someone to beat you up? This was something that Feng Jiao couldn't figure out. He felt that there was something strange going on, but he couldn't figure it out. "Yeah, I don't know what's going on, What a lunatic." Fan Jinja scolded angrily. "How about we don't play these dirty tricks anymore?" Calm. "What kind of tricks?" Fan Jinja was stunned and asked with some doubts. "How about this? You and Yang Ming have a challenge. You challenge Yang Ming. Make an agreement that whoever loses will stay away from Zhao Ying in the future." Feng Jianing said after thinking about it. I challenge Yang Ming." Fan Jinja shook his head immediately. "You don't know. That Yang Ming is also very powerful. The school's taekwondo club's president and vice president were beaten to a pulp. How can I be his opponent?" We have to play some tricks here." Feng Jianing said with a smile. "Although you challenged him openly, you didn't say that you would accept the challenge personally. When the time comes, you can find a master to fight with him. He can't say anything. As long as we are careful and play a word game with him, he can only accept the challenge." "Yeah. That's a good idea." When Fan Jinja heard it, he suddenly felt that this method was feasible, so he patted Feng Jianing's shoulder and said with appreciation, "Jianing, you are really capable." "That's right." Feng Jianing nodded. "Brother Zhe, we can add a more ruthless condition at that time. The loser not only has to stay away from Zhao Ying, but also has to strip naked and run around the playground." "Oh." Fan Jinja was stunned. "Run around naked?" "Yeah, Brother Zhe. Think about it, if Yang Ming were to run around naked, how would he have the face to continue staying in this school? Won't he be laughed at by his classmates when he goes out? Even if his face is big, he can't stand it. He can only transfer schools by then." Feng Jianing laughed. "Damn. Jianing, your idea is ruthless. But I'm afraid that Yang Ming won't agree. Fan Jinja was a little worried that Yang Ming would not accept the challenge. Don't worry about this. We can hype it up on the campus BBS first. If he doesn't accept the challenge, doesn't it mean that he is afraid? Then he will be even more embarrassed. Even if we can't achieve the ultimate goal, we can humiliate him and let Brother Zhe vent your anger. Feng Jianeng said indifferently. As for how to make Yang Ming leave Zhao Ying, we will think of a way next time. Anyway, isn't Brother Zhe's ultimate goal this time to teach Yang Ming a lesson? That's true. Fan Jinja nodded. In this way, we have nothing to lose. It seems that this idea is good. Then it's settled. By the way, Yang Ming's skills are not weak. He can even defeat the president of the Taekwondo club. Ordinary people can't be his opponent. Where can we find someone who can defeat Yang Ming? Since I have the confidence to come up with this idea, I naturally have the confidence to find this person. Feng Jianeng smiled mysteriously. I have a distant relative who fights in the underground. He is very famous in the southern V city. His name is Feng Xibiao. As long as we can afford it, he will definitely help us fight. Really? That's great. Fan Jinja heard that he was an underground fighter. He must be very powerful. Although he had not come into contact with that industry, he had heard a little about it. The people who fought in the underground were all fearless. They could die in the ring at any time, so these people were also quite fierce. Not to mention an ordinary student like Yang Ming, even a national-level Taekwondo master might not be his opponent. Because they did not follow the rules when they fought, it was a life-and-death battle. So, with such a master, Fan Jinja was not worried that he would lose. Of course, although we don't have much contact, we are relatives after all. We can still contact each other. Feng Jianeng nodded. Money is not a problem. The key is, what if he kills Yang Ming? You know, isn't it illegal to kill someone? Fan Jinja asked with some worry. It's okay. I will tell him not to hit too hard. People like them know their limits. At most, they will injure him, but they won't kill him. Feng Jianeng said, besides, he will be the one who kills him. What does it have to do with us? Chapter 1897. That's true. We just invited him to fight. What does it have to do with us if he accidentally injures someone? Thinking of this, Fan Jinja actually hoped that Feng Xibiao would kill Yang Ming. Because if he killed Yang Ming, he would be done with it once and for all. However, he also knew that this was just wishful thinking. Even if he wanted to, Feng Xibiao wouldn't agree. It didn't matter if someone was killed in an underground fight, but if someone was killed in public, it would be a big deal. Feng Jianeng was indeed Feng Jianeng. He quickly contacted his distant relative. Although they were relatives, the other party was not hesitant. He was willing to fight, but the appearance fee was 200,000 yuan. Although Fan Jinja was a little distressed, he agreed when he thought that he could get rid of Yang Ming. After finding the person to fight, the next step was to create hype on the school's BBS. Feng Jianeng spent money to hire some idle young people in the internet cafe and began to post on the school's BBS. Soon, Fan Jinja's post became a hot post. Fan Jinja's post was written by Feng Jiu. It was written very hot-bloodedly and passionately, but it was also very skillful. It directly stated that he wanted to challenge Yang Ming. The loser not only had to run naked, but also stay away from Zhao Ying. However, it did not say that Fan Jinja would personally fight with Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't know about the battle post that was trending on the school's BBS. Although Yang Ming did not pay attention to it, others were very concerned about it. Yang Ming was a well-known figure in Songjiang Industry University. Previously, he beat up the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club by himself. This was already a very badass legend. Later, he performed a knife-throwing performance at the school's art festival, which made Yang Ming even more popular. Originally, Fan Jinja also hired a bunch of people to hype up Feng Jiu's post. However, the development of the matter was beyond his expectations. The challenge post did not require much effort from his own people, and countless people had already replied to support it. This was a good sign as it could force Yang Ming to respond. However, what made Fan Jinja depressed was that most of these students were supporting Yang Ming. This was because many of them were optimistic about Yang Ming. They felt that Fan Jinja was a fool for daring to challenge Yang Ming. Was he courting death? It was such an idiotic behavior that could not be any more idiotic. Motherfucker, these little brats are actually supporting Yang Ming. I didn't expect Yang Ming to be so popular. Fan Jinja looked at the replies on the battle post gloomily. Although Yang Ming had yet to respond, many people had predicted that Fan Jinja would definitely lose. Hey, what do they know? Feng Jiu smiled and said, they are all a bunch of ignorant people. Brother Zhe, why should you lower yourself to their level? That's true, but I still feel a little uncomfortable. Looking at these posts makes me feel annoyed. Why don't we let our gunners also post and support my victory? Fan Jinja suggested. No, you can't do that. Feng Jiu quickly shook his head when he heard it. Brother Zhe, we don't need to do that. Why? No one knows that we did it anyway. Fan Jinja asked in confusion. Brother Zhe, what's the old saying? The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Feng Jiu waved his hand and explained, think about it. Now that everyone is supporting Yang Ming, Yang Ming's popularity has reached the peak. Even Yang Ming thought that he would definitely win. In the end, we suddenly defeated him. How big is the gap? How big is the gap in the hearts of his supporters? They will definitely not be able to accept it. The person they are optimistic about has lost. This is simply a great shame. And in this way, Yang Ming will probably not have the face to stay in this school. He was originally a high and mighty figure, but he suddenly fell and became a loser. He will definitely be ashamed and won't have the face to compete with you for Zhao Ying. NN. Fan Jinja patted Feng Jiu's shoulder in surprise after he heard it. Well said. Feng Jiu, you are so capable. This is a good idea. The higher you climb, the more painful it will be when you fall. That's right. Otherwise, why would I be called Feng Jiu? Brother Neng is quite capable when it comes to doing things. Feng Jiu said proudly. What did you say? Fan Jinja frowned when he heard Feng Jiu call himself Brother Neng. This kid dares to call himself a brother in front of me? Ugh. I said it wrong. In front of Brother Zhe, I am a younger brother. Hee hee. Feng Jiu was shocked. He was too proud just now and almost made Fan Jinja feel disgusted. However, in front of outsiders, you are also a brother. You are under one person and above everyone else. Hee hee. Fan Jinja was in a good mood, so he didn't care about this with Feng Jiu. Instead, he was so happy that he couldn't control himself. When the challenge post was sent out, Yang Ming was at home with Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jian. Looking at the three people's happy faces, Yang Ming wanted to say something several times but stopped. He didn't tell Chen Mengyan and the others that he was leaving because Chen Mengyan and the others' psychological endurance was not as strong as Zhao Ying, Jing Xiaolu, and the others. Yang Ming was afraid that they would do something irrational on impulse. However, Yang Ming knew that his days at home were numbered. It could be seen from Xia Bingbao's attitude when he talked to him that his trip to Yunnan was imminent. Mengyan. Yang Ming hesitated and decided to speak. This matter had to be said sooner or later. If he said it earlier, he could win their support. Otherwise, if he said it before he left, it would be difficult for him if the three people really didn't let him go. What's wrong? Chen Mengyan and Lin Jian were discussing how to knit a sweater for Yang Ming, while Zhou Jiejia was helping them design the pattern. Knitting sweaters was rare for the current standard of living. After all, the workmanship and cost of the factory assembly line were far lower than handmade. However, when a girl knitted a sweater for a boy, it often represented a different meaning. It was full of deep love. Yang Ming wanted to talk about his own matters, but the phone in his pocket rang. Yang Ming glanced at the caller ID on the phone and couldn't help but smile bitterly. It was really what he was afraid of. The call was from Xia Bingbao. I'll answer the call first. Yang Ming nodded to Chen Mengyan and the others, stood up, and walked out of the living room. Chen Mengyan was slightly stunned. Under normal circumstances, Yang Ming wouldn't answer the phone behind her back. Why did Yang Ming go out to answer the phone this time? Moreover, Yang Ming's expression just now seemed a bit weird. He seemed to want to say something but stopped. Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan couldn't help but be suspicious. She wasn't suspicious of Yang Ming, but she was completely curious. She glanced at Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun and said, "I'm going to the bathroom." Chapter 1898. Then, Chen Mengyan tiptoed and followed Yang Ming out of the living room. Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun didn't notice anything wrong. The two were completely immersed in the joy of designing sweaters. When they heard Chen Mengyan say that she was going to the bathroom, they didn't care. They continued to be busy with the things at hand. Yang Ming didn't expect Chen Mengyan to follow him. It wasn't that his vigilance had deteriorated, but this was his own home. Yang Ming had installed anti-theft devices outside. As long as someone approached the villa, Yang Ming would receive an early warning signal. Everyone in the house was family. Yang Ming didn't need to be on guard all the time. It was too tiring to live like that. "Brother Xia." Yang Ming picked up the phone. "Yang Ming, the time has been determined. After 3 days, we will gather in Yanjing City." Xia Bingbao finished speaking and fell into silence. "Oh. I got it." Yang Ming pondered for a moment, but he smiled. "Who?" Xia Bingbao breathed a sigh of relief. "I was really afraid that you, kid, would regret it at the last minute. Things have to be solved. If I don't go, who will?" Yang Ming shrugged. "I have already thought it through." "It's good that you have thought it through. However, in these few days, you should arrange things at home. Once you leave." Xia Bingbao didn't continue. In fact, he didn't have any confidence in this operation. After all, the enemy they were dealing with was already an inhuman existence. "I understand." Yang Ming said faintly, "I don't ask for much. After I leave, I don't want my family to be hurt. Fatty has returned to China. Thanks to you, he has been promoted. He will be sent to your province as the person in charge of the local supernatural investigation bureau." Xia Bingbao didn't say it clearly, but he believed that Yang Ming understood what he meant. "Fatty is back?" Yang Ming was slightly stunned, but he also understood Xia Bingbao's arrangement. Fatty was the contact person of the field team that Yang Ming met in Las Vegas. If it weren't for Yang Ming, Fatty would have to bear a lot of responsibility. After all, Li Jianqi died in his hands. But now, it seemed that not only was he fine, but he was also promoted. It was probably because he gave him face. When the Fatty took office, Xia Bingbao had already hinted to him. Furthermore, his purpose for coming here could not be any more obvious, and that was to bear the responsibility of protecting Yang Ming's family. The status of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was very aloof. It was not under the jurisdiction of either the military or the government. It was directly responsible to the higher-ups. Regardless of whether it was the military or the government, they only had the right to cooperate with the investigation and did not have the right to interfere. If the Fatty was here to escort him, Yang Ming was relieved. "He is back. He will probably be there tomorrow. He will contact you." Xia Bingbao laughed. "However, I can't trouble him for everything. After all, this identity is a secret. Is there anyone in the local political world who can help us?" Yang Ming was still a little worried. After all, there were too many small people who didn't open their eyes. It was fine if Yang Ming was here, but once Yang Ming was gone, there would be some trouble. "No, do you have any relatives in the political world?" I can help you to act as the peripheral contact of our Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xia Bingbao readily agreed. He also knew that if he put it bluntly, Yang Ming was making arrangements for his funeral. Only when the funeral was arranged, there would be no worries. Therefore, if Xia Bingbao could help, he would try to help Yang Ming deal with it. My father-in-law is the deputy chief of the Songjiang City Police Station, but he may be the chief. Yang Ming thought about it. Only Qin Mengyan's father, Qin Fei, was a person in the political world. There was no one else. People in the military and police world just meet our requirements. It doesn't take much effort for them to take on a part-time position on our side, Xia Bingbao said. Xia Bingbao said, I will go and do some activities. The local position will also be promoted accordingly. Then, I will trouble Brother Xia. Yang Ming sighed. There is nothing else. Oh, if you have other things, tell me quickly. I will do it together. Otherwise, I won't be able to say it even if I want to. Xia Bingbao felt that Yang Ming's request was really little. Most people would ask for a large amount of settlement fee, right? However, thinking about Yang Ming's net worth, money was probably nothing to Yang Ming. No, I am just worried about my family. I have nothing else to worry about. Yang Ming said, see you in Yanjing 3 days later. That's good. If there is anything, call me again. Xia Bingbao didn't say much. After putting down the phone, Yang Ming sighed and put away the phone. He turned around and was about to go back to the living room, but he was shocked to find that Qin Mengyan was standing behind him. Mengyan, you. Yang Ming was stunned, and his expression suddenly became a little unnatural. Yang Ming, you have something to hide from me, right? You are going to Yanjing in 3 days? What are you going to do? You mentioned my father again. Who are you calling? Qin Mengyan originally thought that Yang Ming was secretly calling a beauty, but it was not like that at all. Qin Mengyan's heart suddenly tightened. Because the content of Yang Ming's phone call was really weird. Hide. Oh, I guess so. Yang Ming saw that Qin Mengyan had heard the content of his phone call, and there was nothing to hide. Moreover, Yang Ming originally planned to tell Qin Mengyan about his own matters. Yang Ming, what the hell is the matter with you? Qin Mengyan held Yang Ming's hand. Don't scare me. Actually, it's nothing. Aren't I afraid that you will be worried? But it's not a big deal. Yang Ming said casually. Not a big deal? Qin Mengyan had some doubts again. Let's go. Let's talk inside. I also want to talk to Jiyun and Jejia. Yang Ming held Qin Mengyan's shoulder and pushed her into the living room. Qin Mengyan's face was full of doubts, but since Yang Ming didn't say it, she couldn't ask. She could only wait for Yang Ming to say the reason. Yang Ming sat on the sofa, and Qin Mengyan also carefully sat next to Yang Ming. Jiyun, Jejia, put down the things in your hands first. I have something to tell you. Yang Ming's expression suddenly became serious, and it shocked Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jejia. When did Yang Ming talk to them so seriously? Every time, he spoke softly, but this time, it was so serious. Yang Ming. What's the matter? Lin Jiyun was shocked. She carefully looked at Yang Ming and asked. Zhou Jejia also looked at Yang Ming nervously. She didn't know what happened. Actually, in addition to my identity as a student, I still have another identity. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said. Other identity? Zhou Jejia and Lin Jiyun were both stunned. Only Qin Mengyan looked at Yang Ming thoughtfully. Chapter 1899. That's right. In fact, my hidden identity is a national agent. As Yang Ming said this, he took out the 2 IDs that he showed to Vice Principal Su today and placed them in front of Qin Mengyan, Zhou Jejia, and Lin Jiyun. This is. The 3 of them quickly opened the 2 IDs carefully and looked at them. When they saw that the photo was Yang Ming's, the 3 of them finally believed Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming was actually an agent. Of course, they wouldn't think that Yang Ming simply took out 2 fake IDs to deceive the 3 of them, because Yang Ming wouldn't be so bored to such an extent. Moreover, because of their unconditional trust in Yang Ming, they wouldn't think so. Heh, this matter was originally confidential, but in a few days, I have to perform a mission. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, so, even if Meng Yan didn't notice that I was on the phone, I still had to tell you. Is this mission very dangerous? Chen Mengyan suddenly understood the meaning of Yang Ming's previous phone call. She said in her heart, why do I feel so depressed? It turns out that Yang Ming is actually making arrangements for his funeral. Heh, which mission isn't dangerous? Yang Ming smiled faintly and said, I have performed a lot of dangerous missions before, but you should believe in your husband's skills. No matter how dangerous the mission is, for me, it's just floating clouds. Then, this time, Chen Mengyan was slightly stunned. She didn't expect that Yang Ming had performed many dangerous missions before. Sometimes, when I tell you that I have to go out to do something, it is actually to perform a mission. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, the last time I went to Las Vegas, it was actually to perform a very dangerous mission. Of course, the danger is equivalent to others. For your husband, it's all trash. Yang Ming deliberately said it casually so that the 3 of them could rest assured. If he directly said that it was very dangerous and they might lose their lives, the 3 of them would definitely not accept it. It was better to tell them step by step and let them accept it bit by bit. You haven't said what's different this time. Although Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation, it seemed that this mission wasn't a big deal. Her heart was still faintly uneasy. She felt that this matter wasn't as simple as before. If you want to say that it's different, it is really different. Yang Ming deliberately sighed. Meng Yan, you just heard my phone call, right? In your opinion, I seem to be making arrangements for my funeral, right? And, you are really making arrangements for your funeral? Chen Mengyan exclaimed and stood up abruptly. She looked at Yang Ming in horror. It can be considered as making arrangements for my funeral, but this funeral isn't the kind of funeral that I will die for. Yang Ming smiled and explained, Meng Yan, don't be excited. Listen to me. What kind of funeral is that? It's already a funeral. Is there a difference? Chen Mengyan was still very excited. Suddenly, she took the 2 IDs on the table in a childish manner. I will confiscate your IDs. You are not allowed to go. I will hide it for you. Let's see how you can go. Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jian were also very anxious and worried about Yang Ming, but they didn't ask. After all, the 2 of them usually followed Chen Mengyan. Since Chen Mengyan asked, they only had to listen to Yang Ming's answer. They didn't have to ask personally. Yang Ming looked at Chen Mengyan's behavior. He couldn't help but be a little dumbfounded. Isn't this Chen Mengyan too childish? She actually thought of the idea of hiding the ID. However, it was useless to hide the ID. Who didn't know Yang Ming? Xia Bingbao probably wouldn't check Yang Ming's ID at all. It was the same whether Yang Ming had the ID or not. Meng Yan, don't worry. Listen to me. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. For example, if you want to go abroad to study, you can also say that you will make arrangements for your funeral before you leave. This funeral refers to the family matters after you study abroad. So, it has a different meaning from the funeral after you die. Then you tell me. What is the difference between this time and the past? Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation and breathed a sigh of relief. This time, I am afraid that I will be gone for a long time. The shortest is 3 months, the longest is 1 year, even 5 years or 10 years is possible. Said Yang Ming. What? 5 years or 10 years? Chen Mengyan widened her eyes and looked at Yang Ming. The tears in her eyes couldn't help but fall. Yang Ming, you didn't lie to me? You have to go for so long? And I didn't lie to you. So, before I leave, I must arrange for my funeral, hee. Yang Ming laughed. Why are you going for so long? No, you can't go. I won't let you go. Chen Mengyan was anxious. She didn't look like an elder sister anymore. She hugged Yang Ming and wouldn't let go no matter what. Mengyan, good Mengyan, don't cry. Yang Ming patted Chen Mengyan's back and carefully comforted, Mengyan, everyone has their own social responsibilities. Since I am in this position, I have to do what I need to do. But, how can you be gone for so long? What should we do? Chen Mengyan was anxious. No, you can let others go. Anyway, you can't go. Let others go. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Mengyan, you are not a child. How can you say this? Others don't have girlfriends? Others don't have relatives and children? Then. I don't care. Anyway, you can't go. Chen Mengyan was anxious. She hugged Yang Ming and wouldn't let go no matter what. Mengyan, haven't you heard a song? Yang Ming calmly sang a familiar lyric, if you don't carry a gun, I don't carry a gun. Who will protect the motherland? Who will protect the home? This. Chen Mengyan naturally heard this song. Moreover, children born in a military and police family were naturally more exposed to this type of song. Mengyan, think about it. When you go to catch the bad guys, can your father not go? Can he hide at home and accompany you and your mother? Yang Ming explained, at that time, your mother also pestered Uncle Chen like this and didn't let him go. But when I was young, every time my father went on a mission, my mother and I couldn't sleep at night. We were scared at home. I don't want this feeling anymore. I don't want you to be like this. Chen Mengyan remembered the childhood and cried even more sadly. Mengyan, for this matter, whether it is public or private, I have to go. Only I am qualified for this task. Yang Ming continued. Public or private? Chen Mengyan was stunned. What does this have to do with private? Public, I already have the identity of an agent. Where I am needed, I naturally have to stand up and do it. Yang Ming explained, private. The enemy this time is also my old opponent, Elder Yu. Chapter 1900. Elder Yu. Chen Mengyan exclaimed. Obviously, she knew something about Elder Yu before. The one who came to our Songjiang before. Chen Afyu is his disciple? That's it. Yang Ming said, last time in Songjiang, he already had a grudge with me, so this time to deal with him, I naturally have to go too. Moreover, he is also Lan Ling's enemy. After I defeat him, Lan Ling can come back. It turns out to be because of Lan Ling. Chen Mengyan was suddenly a little jealous, but after listening to Yang Ming's explanation, she didn't have such a strong objection to Yang Ming going to perform this mission. After all, although she was Yang Ming's official girlfriend, when it came to the order of being with Yang Ming, Lin Jiyun was the first, and Lan Ling was the second. Chen Mengyan was just a latecomer. Hee, you can say that. Yang Ming nodded. She is my woman, so I must bring her back. Humph, your woman. Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's words and was somewhat uncomfortable. Hee, Mengyan, not only Lan Ling, but if anything happens to you, I won't just ignore it. No matter how dangerous it is, I will rush up. Yang Ming said very seriously, just like if something happened to Zhou Jiejia's father, I will not shirk my responsibility. This is my obligation, and it is the same for everyone. Then, when you are there, you must be careful. You have to contact us more. Chen Mengyan heard that Yang Ming's opponent was Elder Yu, so she also put down some worries. After all, the last time Elder Yu was in Songjiang, he was defeated by Yang Ming. With such a precedent, in Chen Mengyan's view, this Elder Yu's level shouldn't be good. He was just a little cunning. Since Yang Ming could defeat him once, he could defeat him a second time. The reason why Yang Ming said that he would go for so long might be because this Elder Yu ran fast. It was not easy to track him, so he had to fight a protracted battle. I will definitely be careful, but I can't contact him. In the mountains over there is no cell phone signal, and the opponent is very cunning. We can't let him intercept our communication with the outside world. Yang Ming said with some apologies. However, he saw that Chen Mengyan misunderstood that his opponent, Elder Yu, wasn't a very powerful opponent, so he was relieved and didn't explain more. That was even better. They wouldn't have to worry when the time came. I see. Chen Mengyan nodded reluctantly, but she wasn't an unreasonable person. She also understood the discipline during the mission. She couldn't turn on the mobile phone and couldn't contact the outside world. Her father used to often participate in the task force. The longest time was when he didn't contact the family for a few months. Because it was strictly confidential, Chen Mengyan could understand. It was just that her father was like this, and so was her lover. Chen Mengyan felt that it was a bit unfair. Why is my family like this? Yeah, but you can rest assured. Tomorrow night, I will introduce a person to you. He is also a person inside our system. You can confirm my information and whereabouts directly from him. The person Yang Ming was talking about was Fatty. He was going to introduce Fatty to Chen Mengyan and others. He also wanted to let Chen Fei know in advance so that if there were any problems in the family in the future, he could go directly to Fatty to solve it. Okay then. Chen Mengyan heard Yang Ming's determination. She also knew that Yang Ming wouldn't break the discipline because of her. That was impossible. So, she didn't insist. Heh. I knew it. My little Mengyan is the most sensible. Yang Ming smiled and pinched Chen Mengyan's delicate little face. Aya, what are you doing? Chen Mengyan was a little shy because of Yang Ming's action. Hee, now that I have finished talking to you, accompany me home tonight and talk to my parents. They are old. I am afraid that they can't accept it. The three of you have to help. Yang Ming said to Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia. Chen Mengyan helped Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia to answer what they wanted to ask. In fact, their love for Yang Ming was the same, so what they wanted to say was similar. At this time, Yang Ming had already explained to Chen Mengyan, which was equivalent to explaining it to them. Chen Mengyan nodded. But, if you leave for 10 years, how can we live? At that time, when you come back, won't we be old and weary? Ha! When Yang Ming heard Chen Mengyan's words, he couldn't help but laugh. Mengyan, you are only 20 years old now. Even if you leave for 10 years, you will only be 30 years old. How can you be old and weary? Look at Sister Xiaoqing. She is already 31 years old. Isn't she about the same age as you? Can't you see how old she is? That's true, but Sister Xiaoqing takes good care of herself. We can't say for sure. When Chen Mengyan talked about Sister Xiaoqing, she couldn't help but be envious. Hee, then you should ask Sister Xiaoqing when you are free. See how she takes good care of herself. Yang Ming was happy that these women could get along well with each other after he left. He believed that after a period of time, they would accept each other. It's scary when I think about it. 10 years. How do you want us to live? Chen Mengyan was reluctant when she thought of the long wait. If you can't wait, you can also remarry. Yang Ming smiled and said. Damn you, Yang Ming. What did you say? Chen Mengyan was anxious. Am I so easy to change my mind? I will strangle you. As Chen Mengyan said, she pinched Yang Ming's soft flesh. Ugh. Yang Ming quickly dodged, but his expression was serious. I'm telling the truth. Jiyun, Jiejia, if you meet the right person, don't wrong yourself. Find your own happiness as soon as possible. Lin Jiyun quickly shook her head and waved her hand. She was somewhat incoherent. I won't. I will wait for you. Zhou Jiejia also said firmly, I have died once for you. How can I change my mind? If I could change my mind, would have changed long ago. It's okay. I can wait for so many years. I will continue to wait now. Zhou Jiejia's persistence made Chen Mengyan feel a little touched. Yes, Zhou Jiejia waited for so many years to get Yang Ming's love. Moreover, she can continue to wait now. Why can't I? Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan had no complaints. Loving a person is to sacrifice for him. Chen Mengyan also felt at this moment that 10 years wasn't a long time. If two people love each other for a long time, why would they be together day and night? Yang Ming, I will wait for you too. I will wait for you to come back. I am still waiting for you to fulfill your promise. You have to marry me. Chen Mengyan raised her head and looked at Yang Ming tenderly and firmly. Chapter 1901. Oh, okay. Yang Ming nodded. Since we don't have any differences in opinion, let's pack up and prepare to go back. Yang Ming was going to take the three people back home in the evening, and then confess his own matters to his parents. At the same time, he also let the three people know. However, because Chen Mengyan heard his phone call and had some accidents, he told the three women in advance. However, it also saved some trouble. When he confessed to his parents in the evening, with the help of the three people, it should be easier for his parents to accept it. The reason why Yang Ming hadn't told his parents about his matters was that he was afraid that his parents would be worried if they knew too early. The people that Yang Ming couldn't let go, in addition to his own women, were his parents. His parents were old. If something really happened to him, they would probably be heartbroken in the future. However, if Elder Yu wasn't eliminated, he would always be a scourge. Although Yang Ming wasn't a hero, he was also a responsible person. Even if there was no hatred with Elder Yu, as long as the country needed Yang Ming would not shirk his duty. Even the inexplicable center, Yang Ming didn't intend to let it go easily. After all, the only one who could compete with him was Yang Ming himself. If Yang Ming didn't make a move, no one could do anything to the center. Yang Ming could ignore murderers, robbers, and the like. It wasn't that he didn't have kindness, but he was just a person after all. He wasn't Superman. These things would be handled by the police. But Elder Yu, and even the center, if he didn't do it himself, he could only let them do whatever they wanted. Therefore, in this case, Yang Ming had to stand up. This was what an indomitable man should do. Although Yang Ming seemed to be bargaining with Xia Bingbao before leaving, in fact, even if Xia Bingbao didn't agree to Yang Ming's conditions, Yang Ming would still make a move. This was because Yang Ming knew very well that the greater the power, the greater the responsibility. The conditions that Yang Ming fought for were basically for his family and women. Yang Ming didn't want them to be harassed by his enemies after he left, so Yang Ming sometimes overdid it. But, presumably, Xia Bingbao also understood. There was a reason why Yang Ming decided to tell his parents the truth tonight. It was because Xia Bingbao called. Yang Ming was about to embark on his journey in 3 days. He didn't know when he could come back. Moreover, whether he could come back was also a problem, so Yang Ming had to give his parents an explanation. In the evening, Yang Ming drove Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia back to the community of the Songjiang bus factory, which was now renamed Mingyang Community. Carrying the gift, he went upstairs with heavy steps. However, his mood was completely different from the heavy steps he took a year ago. A year ago, whenever his steps were heavy, it was because he got into trouble. He was afraid of being scolded by his parents when he returned home. Today, he was no longer afraid of being scolded by his parents. Instead, he was afraid that his parents would be sad. Mother Yang was very surprised. Why did my son come back today? The two elders were very familiar with Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun. They had been wondering how Yang Ming managed to handle the relationship between the three of them. The three of them were now as close as sisters. They didn't fight for anything. Chen Mengyan also acted like an elder sister. Neither of the two younger sisters would be jealous of each other. Big Ming, why did you come back today? Your dad and I wanted to go out for dinner tonight, so we didn't prepare dinner. Mother Yang opened the door and looked at her son strangely. Mom, I missed you and Dad, so I came back to see you. Yang Ming put the gift in his hand on the ground and said to his mother. Good for you, Big Ming. Why did you bring a gift home? Are you rusty after not coming back for such a long time? What are you doing? Mother Yang looked at the gift brought by Yang Ming and asked with some surprise. Hee, am I not bringing my wife back home? How can I not bring a gift? As Yang Ming said this, he winked at Chen Mengyan and said, the gift is from them. I am just acting as a helper. Chen Mengyan immediately understood. She nodded and said, yes, Auntie. This is a small gift from the three of us. If you don't accept it, how would we dare to come here in the future? Good. Since my daughter-in-law bought it for me, then I will accept it no matter what. When she heard that it was prepared by Chen Mengyan and the other two, Mother Yang was overjoyed. She happily put it away and then shouted to the study, Old Yang, Big Ming brought his daughter-in-law to see us. Hurry up and come out. Yang Dahai also heard the sound of the door opening, but he didn't care. He thought it was a neighbor's friend. Mother Yang's job was leisurely. She was the manager of the property company downstairs, so she usually had a good relationship with the aunties in the building. It was common for them to visit each other at night to chat. Yang Dahai naturally didn't care. At this time, when he heard that his son came back with his daughter-in-law, he quickly put down the work in his hand and walked out of the study. When he saw Yang Ming, he couldn't help but smile. Big Ming is back. Meng Yan, Jejia, Jiyun, sit down. Come here and treat it like your own home. Don't be restrained. Yang Dahai was also happy that his son found 3 beautiful daughters-in-law. At least he didn't have to worry about the next generation. Now there were a lot of young couples in the Dink tribe who didn't want children. This worried the old people, but Yang Dahai didn't worry about this problem. Anyway, if one didn't want to have children, there were still the other 2. It couldn't be that all 3 of them didn't like to have children, right? Hello, uncle. When Chen Mengyan and the other 2 saw Yang Dahai coming out, they also greeted Yang Dahai politely. Good. Yang Dahai nodded and then asked Mother Yang, have you prepared dinner? No, I was waiting for you to finish your work. Then, we will go downstairs to eat. Who knew that Big Ming, this kid, would come back so suddenly? I wasn't prepared. Mother Yang complained to her son, if you don't call me the next time you come back, I won't open the door. Originally, Mother Yang said this as a joke. Yang Ming's expression was stagnant. The expressions of Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun were also somewhat unnatural. Because all 4 of them thought of a problem at the same time. The next time they would visit, they didn't know when it would be. Mother Yang saw that both her son and daughter-in-law had this expression. Suddenly, she was stunned. Could this be a misunderstanding? I was just casually joking. You don't have to take it seriously, right? So, she quickly explained, Mom was just joking with you. Why did you take it seriously? Big Ming, what's with your expression? Yang Ming looked at his mother and couldn't help but sigh. He wanted to wait for a while to talk about his own matters, but since his mother had already brought the topic here. Chapter 1902. Yang Ming naturally continued, Mom, I'm afraid this is the last time I come back to see you. I don't know when the next time will be. Mother Yang was stunned, then she frowned. She seemed to be angry. Big Ming, what do you mean? Mom just said one sentence, and you're angry? Why don't you want to come back? Yang Ming listened to his mother's question and knew that his mother had misunderstood. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. Mom, you misunderstood. I'm not angry. I have to leave for a while. Leave for a while? What do you mean? What the hell is going on? Mother Yang was somewhat inexplicable. Actually, this is the case. At this point, Yang Ming could only brace himself and tell the things that he had told Chen Mengyan before. He told them everything in one go, including his identity, the nature of the mission, and even the matter of bringing Lan Ling back. Yang's father and mother Yang listened to Yang Ming's words. They were surprised and couldn't calm down for a long time. This matter was too weird. Our son was still a college student. How did he suddenly become an agent? Moreover, he had carried out many missions before. Why didn't I know anything? You kid, why did you hide it from me and your dad for so long? Did you grow up and have wings? You don't put me and your dad in your eyes? Mother Yang stared at Yang Ming and asked, "What's the matter with Lan Ling? Are you worthy of Chen Mengyan and the others? You actually found another girl?" Chen Mengyan saw that Mother Yang scolded Yang Ming and mentioned Lan Ling. She quickly explained, "Auntie, I know Lan Ling. She was Yang Ming's acquaintance before I established a relationship with him. We had already agreed that we would get along well. Don't be angry with Yang Ming." In fact, Mother Yang wasn't really angry because of Lan Ling, but because Chen Mengyan was next to her. If she didn't do something as a mother-in-law, wouldn't she be indulging her son? So Mother Yang scolded Yang Ming a few times. She didn't expect that Chen Mengyan would help Yang Ming. She couldn't help but be a little surprised. "Mengyan, you already know Lan Ling?" Mother Yang suddenly realized that Chen Mengyan and the other two seemed to already know what Yang Ming said, and Yang Ming just told the two elders about it. "But he'll be gone for 5 to 10 years. Isn't that too long? No, I won't let you go." Mother Yang was a little anxious. "I will talk to your leader tomorrow to send another person." "Why should my son go? My son hasn't graduated from college. He's still a child. How can he perform a task?" "Mom." Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect his mother to oppose so fiercely. "Old woman, don't talk nonsense. Yang Ming is serving the country. How can you stop it? If everyone follows your idea, then it won't be good." Yang Dahai was open-minded. After listening to Yang Ming's words, he didn't say much. He just nodded to show his support. His father's open-mindedness was beyond Yang Ming's expectation. In this way, he successfully convinced his parents. "Then I don't care. Why don't others go? Let Yang Ming go." Mother Yang was still unwilling. "This is our glory. To prove that Yang Ming is better than others, then we will let him go. If he can't, then naturally, we won't let him go." Yang Dahai stood up and reached out to pat Yang Ming's shoulder. "Son, Dad is proud of you. I was worried that you would become a pest in society, but in this year, you have changed a lot. Not only did you not become a pest in society, but you have become a pillar of the country." "Dad." Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. "Am I so bad?" But thinking about the past, except for fighting, skipping class and going out to play every day, he didn't do anything serious. To put it nicely, he was a delinquent teenager. To put it bluntly, he was a pest in society. Now, what he was going to do was glorious and great. No wonder his father was so happy. "Yang Dahai, you are open-minded, but listen to it. He has to go for 10 years. How are we going to live for 10 years? How boring would it be if our son is not around?" Although Mother Yang knew that Yang's father was telling the truth, she still had some reluctance. Besides, if he is gone, what about Meng Yan and the others? Let them wait for 10 years? "Auntie, we can wait. You can rest assured. We are the daughters-in-law of the Yang family in this life. It won't change." Chen Mengyan held Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jian's hands and said softly. Mother Yang listened to Chen Mengyan's words and was very moved. However, this wasn't something that could be solved with just being moved. Mother Yang was still unwilling. "You say, I am already so old. I am waiting to hold my grandchild as soon as possible. You will be gone for 10 years. Where can I go to hold my grandchild? When you come back, I haven't seen my grandson. Maybe I will be dead. Yang Ming suddenly broke into a sweat. Mother said a bit too much. She was only in her 40s. Even if it was 10 years, she would only be in her 50s. How could she die? She was thousands of miles away from death. People in their 70s or 80s didn't say that they were dead. She was thinking a bit too far. However, Yang Ming also knew that his mother was using this as a pretext. Originally, if he didn't perform this mission, Yang Ming was also prepared to live in seclusion in Island X after graduating from university for 3 to 4 years. Then, he would have a few children and live a happy life. However, this plan changed Yang Ming's original plan. Yang Ming could only give up the original plan. Auntie, why don't we have one now? Chen Mengyan gritted her teeth and suddenly looked up. Her eyes were firm and a little shy. Now? Have one? Mother Yang was also stunned by Chen Mengyan's words. Mengyan, you mean, you want to have a child now? I think, if Yang Ming is really gone for 10 years, we will be very lonely. It is better to have a child now. At least, when I miss Yang Ming, I can see the child. Chen Mengyan said shyly. This was the problem she thought about on the road. Otherwise, she couldn't decide so easily after Mother Yang mentioned it. Chen Mengyan was hesitating about how to say it to Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan's mother brought the topic to this, which saved Chen Mengyan a lot of effort. We also have the same idea. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia said at the same time. The two of them also had the same idea as Chen Mengyan on the road, but they were embarrassed to say it. At this time, since Chen Mengyan mentioned it, then the two of them talked naturally. Chapter 1903. It can't be. You guys. Yang Ming looked at the three women in surprise. He didn't expect them to be so determined. Yang Ming sighed. It seems that the three women's minds can't be changed. Then, it's not impossible to have a child. At the very least, if anything were to happen to him, his parents, Meng Yan, and the rest would have a spiritual sustenance to rely on. Yang Ming, we are serious. Chen Mengyan glanced at Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun, and then nodded slowly. Mom, what do you mean? Yang Ming scratched his head and looked at his mother awkwardly. This is naturally good. Mother Yang's previous unhappy expression suddenly became happy. If you have a grandson, you can be busy wherever you want to be. It doesn't matter if it's 10 or 20 years. I will play with my grandson. Yang Ming suddenly broke into a sweat. How can it be like this? Having a grandson made me forget my son. In the blink of an eye, I have become an insignificant person from a popular person. But this is also good. At least it diverted his mother's attention, and it also saved a lot of Yang Ming's words. The dinner was ordered from the Songjiang International Hotel. The family of 6 sat around a small round table. Because they were determined to have a grandson, Yang's father and Mother Yang didn't mention too much about Yang Ming's mission. In their opinion, the danger of this mission shouldn't be high. If it was a dangerous mission, it wouldn't take so long. The more dangerous it was, the faster it would be. Therefore, this kind of protracted battle was more troublesome to solve, but the relative danger was relatively small. In addition, Chen Mengyan also explained that the enemy this time was defeated by Yang Ming when they were in Songjiang. This time, they just tracked him to his lair. Therefore, Yang's father and Mother Yang thought that the one who chased after the enemy must be stronger than the enemy. Moreover, if Yang Ming wasn't strong, how could the enemy escape? The reason why it took so long was that the enemy was very cunning. His whereabouts were uncertain, and it was more difficult to find him. When sleeping at night, Yang Ming, Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia slept in the same room. It was Yang Ming's previous room. Although the bed was a bit small, it was still possible to squeeze in. Chen Mengyan was very excited and somewhat nervous. After all, it was the first time that she was going to try to get pregnant. Every woman's mood was very excited. Today was also Chen Mengyan's critical period, so the probability of pregnancy was much higher. Lin Jiyun's mother's was worried. She had her period. When Lin Jiyun said this, it made Chen Mengyan feel a little embarrassed. Isn't there still Jejia? I just finished. Zhou Jejia suddenly blushed. When I was at the resort a few days ago, I also had my period. It's only been 4 days. It should still be the safe period. Ah? Really? Then, I'm the only one? When Chen Mengyan heard what they said, she was more worried than them. She couldn't help but smile bitterly. It's impossible for you all. If I can't get pregnant, wouldn't I be a sinner? So, Sister Mengyan, you have to work hard. Zhou Jejia blinked. We won't fight with you today. We will let you monopolize Yang Ming. You must not let us down. Okay. Then I will go all out. I won't sleep tonight. When Chen Mengyan heard this, she suddenly clenched her teeth. Yang Ming, come on. Let's start now. Yang Ming suddenly sweated. He didn't expect Chen Mengyan to be so crazy. Originally, Chen Mengyan was a little embarrassed because Zhou Jejia and Lin Jiyun were on the side. However, when she thought that it was a big deal to carry on the Yang family's ancestral line, Mother Yang was still waiting for her to give birth to a child. Suddenly, she couldn't care so much and let go. Lin Jiyun was fine. She and Chen Mengyan also served Yang Ming together, so at this time, she was fine except for a little blush. But Zhou Jejia was different. She hadn't experienced these things yet. At this time, when she saw her beloved man and her sister practicing on the bed, she couldn't help but feel dry in her mouth. Her body also twisted unnaturally. She didn't want to watch, but her eyes couldn't leave. Jejia, what's wrong with you? Lin Jiyun found that something was wrong with Zhou Jejia, so she quickly asked. I also want to. Am I a little perverted? Zhou Jejia was a little embarrassed. I know that Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming want to have a child, but I also want to join in. Lin Jiyun listened to Zhou Jejia's words and also blushed. Jejia, in fact, I also have feelings, but I can still restrain it. You. Why don't you join in? Although Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were in bed, he also heard the conversation between Zhou Jejia and Lin Jiyun. He couldn't help but smile. Jejia, come over. Let your sister Mengyan rest for a while. I'll pass. Zhou Jejia was a little shy. No matter what, it was her first time. How could she dare to join in the group? In the end, Zhou Jejia didn't join in. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were also very tired. The 4 of them huddled together on Yang Ming's small bed and slept in each other's arms. Early the next morning, Yang Ming told his parents that he couldn't stay at home because he still had other things to deal with. Yang Ming still had to see Lu Weishan. He was his godfather. Yang Ming was going to Yunnan soon. Naturally, he had to say goodbye to him. There was also Shao Qing, Sun Jia, Zhao Ying, Huang Lele, and Suya. He had to say goodbye to them one by one. After all, the trip to Yunnan in 3 days was imminent. Yang's father and mother Yang's eyes fell on the lower abdomen of Chen Mengyan and the others at the same time. This made Chen Mengyan and others a little shy. Yang Ming smiled and said, "How can it be so fast? I will work hard in these few days. I will definitely let you have grandchildren. That's more like it. Then you can go. Yang Ming, when you go to see your godfather, don't go empty-handed. Take the things you brought yesterday, okay?" Mother Yang pointed at the things that Yang Ming brought yesterday. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. "Mom, this is for you and my dad. I will buy some more to see godfather. How can I take it back? Your dad and I don't need it. You can take it. Why do you care so much about your own family?" Mother Yang couldn't help but put the things in Yang Ming's hands. "If you don't take it, it will be a waste to leave it at home. Your dad and I have money. We can buy whatever we want and need. We don't need you to buy the things we don't need. Chapter 1904. Yang Ming, since uncle and auntie have said so, then take it back. Chen Mengyan also saw that Yang Ming's parents really didn't lack these things, so when she saw that Mother Yang insisted, she also persuaded. Right, Mengyan, you are ready to give birth to a grandson for me. Why are you still calling us uncle and auntie? Isn't it time to change the way you address us? Mother Yang suddenly said after listening to Chen Mengyan's words. Chen Mengyan was stunned, but she suddenly felt embarrassed. Although she was already very familiar with Yang Ming's parents, she was still not used to suddenly changing the way she addressed them. However, she was very happy in her heart because this also meant that she was recognized by Yang Ming's family. You want the child to change the way you address us. How can you not prepare to change the way you address us? Yang Dahai listened to Mother Yang's words and saw Chen Mengyan's embarrassment. He quickly mediated, besides, the child is still young. There is no need to rush. Yang Dahai thought that Chen Mengyan wasn't ready, so he didn't want to push too hard. Although their living conditions had improved by leaps and bounds, Yang Dahai was no longer the former laid-off worker, and Mother Yang was no longer the former temporary worker. One of them was the chairman of the Mingyang Heavy Industry Group, and the other was the manager of the community property company. It was more than enough to match Chen Mengyan's family. However, this was only in the case that Yang Ming had a girlfriend. Now Yang Ming didn't only have Chen Mengyan as his girlfriend, but also Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia. If Chen Mengyan were to change her way of addressing him, then would Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia change their ways of addressing him? Although Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's first girlfriend, Lin Jiyun was the first girl who had a relationship with Yang Ming. It was Yang Ming who owed her. Yang's father and Mother Yang were well aware of this. It was impossible for them to break up Lin Jiyun and Yang Ming. If they were to follow the order of first come, first served, then Lin Jiyun would be the first girlfriend. Looking at Zhou Jiejia, she loved Yang Ming to the bone. She could take a bullet for Yang Ming regardless of life and death. How could this kind of unforgettable love be easily separated? Therefore, Yang's father and Mother Yang were really in a dilemma. Since Chen Mengyan was willing and didn't say anything, they were naturally happy to agree. Yang Ming's relationship with Yang Ming's relationship with Yang Ming's relationship with Yang Yang, they couldn't treat them differently, right? Although Chen Mengyan was happy, Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun weren't happy. Wasn't this destroying the harmony of the family? In fact, Yang's father and Mother Yang thought too much. First, it wasn't that Chen Mengyan wasn't prepared, but she was a little excited and didn't know what to say. Second, if she changed hers, how could she not let Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun change theirs? Chen Mengyan had already accepted Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun from the bottom of her heart. She really regarded them as sisters. The relationship between the three of them had long ceased to have any intrigue. Hearing Yang Ming's words, Chen Mengyan was anxious. She actually wanted to finalize this matter today. If Yang Ming really left, then she didn't know when he would come back next time. She also wanted to establish her identity as the daughter-in-law of the Yang family before Yang Ming left. In this way, when Yang Ming went out in the future, she could come to Yang Ming's house naturally, and it wouldn't be awkward. Therefore, Chen Mengyan pulled Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia's clothes and whispered, "Let's call it together." Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia naturally had the same idea, but since Chen Mengyan didn't speak, they naturally wouldn't say anything. Now that Chen Mengyan said so, how could they object? Although they were a little embarrassed, they also understood that if they didn't seize this opportunity, they would definitely regret it in the future. Dad. Mom. Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia opened their mouths almost at the same time, which made Yang's father and Mother Yang stunned. Although they already knew that Chen Mengyan didn't care that Yang Ming had two more girlfriends, Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia, no matter what, she was always the most legitimate wife in the end. But now, Chen Mengyan obviously gave the same identity to Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia. Having 3 daughters-in-law at the same time made Mother Yang somewhat overwhelmed. However, Yang Dehai had been exposed to a lot of big situations recently. At this time, he also recovered after being stunned. He quickly said to Mother Yang, "What are you doing? Hurry up and give the children the money." "Oh, okay. Mother Yang also recovered and quickly ran to the house to find money, but how much cash could there be at home? Moreover, she didn't know how much money was appropriate to prepare. The current Yang family was no longer the Yang family of the past. Yang Dehai's business was often in the hundreds of millions of yuan. If the money was too little, it wouldn't be the case. The behavior of Chen Mengyan and the other two was somewhat beyond Yang Ming's expectations. However, Yang Ming thought about it carefully and was relieved. Since they had chosen to follow him, then before he left, it was also right to give them a legitimate identity. After he left, the 3 of them would come to his house to accompany his parents. Otherwise, the identity of his girlfriend would always be somewhat unreliable. But now, after calling them Dad and Mom, it also confirmed that they were all Yang Ming's wives. Although there was no formal wedding ceremony, in their hearts, they had already acquiesced to this fact. "Mom, don't bother. Give each of them 100 yuan. It's enough." Yang Ming also guessed that it was impossible to have so much cash at home, so he opened his mouth to help his mother out. "How can 100 yuan be enough? You should at least give 100,000 yuan. Mother Yang was a little worried. An ordinary family would need 50,000 yuan to change their identity. With their current conditions and the excellence of Chen Mengyan and the other two, 100,000 yuan was not much. Hee, Auntie. Mom. Chen Mengyan was not used to calling Mother Yang at first. Yang Ming is right. 100 yuan is enough. Yeah, the change of identity is just a formality. Yang Ming smiled and said, "They are not short of money. That's fine. Don't give 100 yuan. Give each of them 10,000 yuan first. When the bank opens tomorrow, I will withdraw the money." Mother Yang took out 30,000 yuan. There was a total of 50,000 yuan in cash at home. It was not easy to divide the 3 of them. It couldn't be 16,000 yuan each, right? That was not very good. It was better to give 10,000 yuan as a round number. No need. 10,000 yuan is enough. Chen Mengyan smiled and took the lead to take the 10,000 yuan handed over by Mother Yang. Then, Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia also took the change of identity handed over by Mother Yang. "Since you have taken the money, you are a family in the future. Tomorrow, let your father give you a key to the house. If you have time, come and visit. Yang Ming, this child, is not easy to worry about. After he leaves, you have to come and play more often," Mother Yang said. Chapter 1905. Don't worry, Mom. We will come when we are free in the future, Chen Mengyan said politely. After sending Yang Ming and the others downstairs, Yang's father and Mother Yang happily returned to the house. Although Yang Ming was leaving soon, it was a good thing to have 3 daughters-in-law. After leaving home, Yang Ming drove directly to his godfather, Lu Weishan's house. This was also the first time Yang Ming officially visited with his 3 girlfriends. Yang Ming called Lu Weishan, "Godfather, where are you?" "In school. I just finished a meeting." Lu Weishan heard Yang Ming's voice, so his tone became casual. "Oh. Godfather, you are still busy?" Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect his godfather to still be in school so late. "I just finished a meeting." Vice Principal Su was suspended. His job was temporarily replaced by another newly promoted vice principal. Lu Weishan said and laughed, "You little brat, you actually have such a powerful trump card and another identity. I've been worried for nothing." Lu Weishan said so. Yang Ming could basically confirm that Lu Weishan would smoothly take over the position of principal. It was already a surprise that the newly promoted vice principal could take over Vice Principal Su's job. It was impossible to go further. The only person who could take over the principal's job could only be Lu Weishan, the senior vice principal. My identity is actually a secret. Isn't it because there is no other way? That's why I took it out. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. After all, these things were hidden from Lu Weishan beforehand. I just told this to my parents. Yang Ming said so that his godfather wouldn't have any other thoughts. Because his parents just knew, it wasn't that Yang Ming deliberately hid it from him. If that's the case, then can you say it now? When will you come to my place and have a good talk with me? Lu Weishan wasn't angry that Yang Ming hid these things from him. Instead, he felt that what Yang Ming was doing now was a serious matter. It wasn't a bad thing, so there was no need to hide it. I'm going to your house to see you, godmother, and sister Xiaoqing. When can you go back? Yang Ming asked with some embarrassment. I'm going to pack up and go home now. I'm afraid that your sister Xiaoqing will come back a little later. She also has some things to deal with in her department. Vice President Su's relative has recently been trying to replace Qing as the dean of the department. However, Vice President Su has been suspended. The relative has also found some economic problems. Qing is cooperating with the school's disciplinary department to deal with this matter, said Lu Weishan. That's fine. Let's go over first. Yang Ming shook his head. He didn't expect Vice Principal Su to involve others. It was really unfortunate. Yang Ming's car slowly drove into the school. Not long after he entered the school gate, his phone rang. Yang Ming took out his phone and looked at it. It was Zhang Bin calling. Zhang Bin, what's the matter? Asked Yang Ming. Bro, where are you? Zhang Bin's voice was a little anxious. I just arrived at the school. What's wrong? What's the matter? Asked Yang Ming. Bro, have you seen the school's forum BBS? There is a challenge from Fan Jinja on it, said Zhang Bin. Challenge? What challenge? Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't know what Zhang Bin was talking about. He wants to challenge? Yeah, don't you know? Zhang Bin said, the post has just been posted, and it has become a hot post. The number of top posts has exceeded 10,000, but most of them are supporting you, bro. What the hell is going on? Can you tell me in detail? Asked Yang Ming. It's like this. Fan Jinja posted a challenge, saying that he wants to fight with you. The loser has to stay away from Sister Zhao Ying and run around the school naked. Said Zhang Bin. Is there something wrong with him? Yang Ming was stunned when he heard Zhang Bin's words. This Fan Jinja can really think of these inexplicable things. Yeah, I also think there is something wrong with him. Zhang Bin said after listening, he is not your opponent at all. Now the replies on the internet are completely one-sided. Everyone predicted that you, bro, will be the winner. They all said that Fan Jinja is asking for trouble. Why would he do something that everyone knows the result of? Is he retarded? Yang Ming smiled faintly after listening. This kid probably wants to play some dirty tricks. That's true. Zhang Bin suddenly realized, then, bro, are you going to accept the challenge or not? I'll study it. Yang Ming did not answer immediately because Yang Ming wanted to see the situation before making a decision. Okay, bro, I'm just informing you. You can go online and see for yourself. Zhang Bin said, if there's nothing else, I'll hang up. I'm going to have fun with Xiao Sisi and Wang Mei. Zhang Bin was very proud when he said this. He was very proud of dealing with Xiao Sisi and Wang Mei at the same time. As Yang Ming's underling, even if he did not have as many women as Yang Ming, having two of them was not a disgrace to the boss. Go ahead, said Yang Ming. Bro, then I'm hanging up. As Zhang Bin said this, he was about to hang up the phone. Wait a minute. Yang Ming suddenly remembered that he was going to leave in 3 days. He had not had a good time with Zhang Bin, his good friend, so he quickly called out. "What's wrong, bro? Is there anything else?" asked Zhang Bin. "Do you have time tomorrow? Come out at night? Let's talk," asked Yang Ming. Okay, bro, call me. I have time anytime," said Zhang Bin, but he was somewhat puzzled. Yang Ming suddenly looked for him. "What's the matter?" But he still responded directly, "I'll bring Zhao Cece and Wang Mei." "Don't bring them. It's just the two of us." "I won't bring anyone else," said Yang Ming. "Oh." Zhang Bin was stunned. Although he was more confused, he still said, "Okay, see you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow." Yang Ming sighed and hung up the phone. "Yang Ming, what challenge did Zhang Bin just say?" "Who wants to challenge you?" Chen Mengyan heard a few vague words from Yang Ming, but she did not hear Zhang Bin's words, so she asked curiously. "Oh, that Fan Jinja wants to challenge me. He said it's a martial arts competition. The loser has to stay away from Sister Zhao Ying and run around the school field naked," explained Yang Ming. Fan Jinja? He wants to challenge you?" Chen Mengyan was shocked. "The person at the resort that night?" "That's him. Probably because of what happened last time," said Yang Ming. "How did he challenge you? Are you going to accept the challenge?" asked Chen Mengyan worriedly. "Isn't this because I want to discuss with you?" Yang Ming smiled and said, "Jejia, can your phone log into the campus network's BBS?" Zhang Bin said that there is a challenge post. Chapter 1906. "Yes, I'll log in and take a look now." Zhou Jejia quickly took out her mobile phone and began to log into the campus network. It was generally impossible to log into the school's campus network through external networks, but it was not difficult for Zhou Jejia. Soon, Zhou Jejia logged into the school's BBS forum and found the challenge post posted by Fan Jinja. "Found it." Zhou Jejia pointed to the mobile phone screen and said, "It's this post." "Let me see." Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun both leaned over and looked at the post displayed on Zhou Jejia's mobile phone screen. "Why is this Fan Jinja so bad?" Zhou Jejia couldn't help but frown after reading the challenge post. If he wants to pursue a girl, he should use an open and above-board method. What kind of method is this? Yeah. Chen Mengyan also nodded. "Yang Ming, I support you. Since he wants to challenge, then you should accept it. When he loses, let's see if he will run around naked. Isn't this person too wicked?" Under normal circumstances, Chen Mengyan didn't like to solve problems in a violent way. However, a challenge was different from ordinary violence because a challenge was closer to a martial arts competition. There were rules, just like a competition. It wasn't a fight. Hee, it seems that this time, I really have to accept the challenge. Otherwise, others will really think that I am a coward. Yang Ming thought about it and said, "Since I am leaving, people who don't know will think that I am scared away, or that I lost to Fan Jinja in private and didn't want to run away naked. Yeah, before you leave, you have to help Sister Ying solve this problem. Otherwise, that person will be very annoying." Chen Mengyan said, "Otherwise, after you leave, he will definitely bother Sister Ying even more." "Okay, then Jejia, help me reply to the post and say that I agree to his challenge. The time and place will be decided by him. However, it has to be within 2 days. Otherwise, I won't wait for it," Yang Ming said. In Yang Ming's opinion, Chen Mengyan's words were not wrong at all. He was about to leave, so he couldn't leave Zhao Ying with a problem, right? Not to mention that Zhao Ying was now considered his woman. Even if they had not established a relationship, Yang Ming could not sit back and watch Fan Jinja harass Zhao Ying. All right. Zhou Jejia had Yang Ming's login account in the school forum. All students had a forum account that had been authenticated and linked to their student ID number. After posting, they could also represent the student themselves. Of course, if you don't want to use your own account to post, you can register some uncertified sock puppets. These sock puppets can also post, but they don't have a certified student ID number. Zhou Jiejia edited Yang Ming's message into a post and replied to it. Soon, it attracted the attention and support of many students. Fan Jinjia and Feng Jianeng, who were sitting in front of the computer, were paying attention to the situation of the challenge post on the forum. Suddenly, they saw Yang Ming's reply. Feng Jianeng suddenly exclaimed, "Brother Zhe, look, Yang Ming has replied." "Oh? Yang Ming really replied? Are you sure it's Yang Ming who replied?" Fan Jinjia was playing with his mobile phone. After hearing Feng Jianeng's words, he quickly put down his mobile phone, turned his head, and looked in the direction of the computer screen. "Where is it?" "It's here." Feng Jianeng opened Yang Ming's reply and said, "This must be Yang Ming's account. It has been authenticated by his student ID number." "Oh, it must be authenticated." "What did he say?" Fan Jinjia looked at Yang Ming's reply excitedly, but he couldn't help but frown after reading it. "Within 2 days? Can we get in touch with that black boxing relative of yours? Can he come over?" "Why not? It's very fast if he takes a plane." Feng Jianeng disagreed. "Brother Zhe, as long as we are willing to pay and reimburse him for the plane ticket, he can come here tomorrow." "Okay, you tell him that I will pay for the plane ticket. Ask him to pack his luggage and come over immediately." Fan Jinjia didn't lack the few thousand yuan for the plane ticket. Since Yang Ming had agreed to the challenge, he naturally had to implement it quickly. Otherwise, if he didn't set the time and place of the challenge within 2 days, Yang Ming would cancel the challenge. Then, it wouldn't be Yang Ming losing face, but Fan Jinjia losing face. Because people would definitely say that Yang Ming accepted his challenge, but he didn't accept the challenge. Then, it wouldn't be Yang Ming's fault, but Fan Jinjia's regret. Fan Jinjia couldn't do such a shameful thing. "Okay, I will contact my distant relative and ask him to come over tomorrow." Feng Jianeng nodded. "Hurry up and contact him. Call him now so that I can set a time for Yang Ming's reply. Otherwise, others will think that I'm afraid of him or something." Fan Jinjia urged anxiously. After Feng Jianeng heard it, he quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed Feng Sibiao's number. "Hello, 7th cousin. I'm Feng Jianeng, Little Ningzi." Feng Jianeng said after the call was connected. "Oh, it's Little Ningzi. Why? Have you confirmed the matter on your side? Can you accept the appearance fee of 200,000 yuan?" Feng Sibiao asked. Although he and Feng Jianeng were relatives, they weren't real relatives at all. He didn't know how many rounds they had gone through. It was just a surname. It was hard to say if they were real relatives. It was just that Feng Jianeng's appearance fee was very attractive. 200,000 yuan. If he fought in an underground boxing match, he would only get a few tens of thousands at most. That was under the condition that he won. If he lost, he wouldn't get a penny. "Of course, I can accept it." Feng Jianeng said, "My boss said that he will pay you 200,000 yuan. But you have to leave tomorrow and fly over because the match is scheduled for the day after tomorrow." "Oh. That's a rush." Feng Sibiao said after listening. "Which city are you in? How much is the flight ticket? Is it expensive?" Previously, Feng Jianeng didn't tell Feng Sibiao which city he was currently in because they only negotiated the price. They didn't confirm whether he would fight, so Feng Sibiao didn't ask in detail. But now that it was confirmed, he naturally had to ask. It wasn't that he was stingy. If the flight ticket was too expensive, it would cost a few thousand yuan for a round trip, plus the cost of staying in the hotel. However, he had spent more than 10,000 yuan. A total of 200,000 yuan was less than 10,000 yuan. He was a little unwilling. He would rather take the train. The nature of his work was similar to working hard. Every penny was earned by his own hard work, so he cherished it very much. In Songjiang City, the flight can only go to the provincial capital, Donghai. The airport here hasn't been repaired yet," said Feng Jianeng. Chapter 1907. What? In Songjiang City? Feng Xibiao was slightly stunned after listening. This Songjiang City was the place of his bitter past. To be honest, he didn't want to come, but the reward of 200,000 yuan was very tempting. He couldn't give it up. What's wrong? Feng Jianeng heard that Feng Xibiao's tone didn't seem to be right. He thought that Feng Xibiao thought it was too far, so he quickly said, "But my boss said that he will reimburse you as long as you can come tomorrow." Reimburse? Feng Xibiao was tempted again. Although Songjiang City was the place of his sad past, since the other party wanted to reimburse the plane ticket, he was naturally very happy because he could save 10,000 yuan. So he hesitated and said, "These conditions are okay, but if I go, you have to tell me who the opponent is, right? What's his name? How old is he? Is he a famous boxer in the country?" "Oh, the opponent is a freshman student named Yang Ming. He shouldn't be an underground boxer. Have you heard of him?" Feng Jianeng asked. "Freshman student? Yang Ming, I haven't heard of him." Feng Xibiao listened to Feng Jianeng's words and suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. "It's just a college student. Wouldn't it be easy for me to go?" So he said, "Is he very good? Why do you want me to go out and teach a lesson to a freshman?" "It's like this. This Yang Ming isn't an ordinary student. His martial arts skills aren't weak." Feng Jianeng didn't hide it. After all, if he said that Yang Ming was good, Feng Xibiao would pay enough attention to him. Otherwise, what if he failed? How good can a student be? Feng Xibiao was somewhat dismissive. "Seventh cousin, you have to pay attention to him. He is really good." Feng Jianeng said, "Our school's taekwondo club president and vice president were not his opponents. They were all defeated by him. Damn, how good can a small taekwondo club in a school be? Not to mention a school's taekwondo club, even those retired taekwondo players are not my opponents. Those flashy kung fu is not useful at all. It is just a trick for me. Instant kill." When Feng Xibiao heard Feng Jianeng's words, he immediately felt relieved. He wasn't bragging, he was telling the truth. In the underground boxing arena, although there were people like him who came from an unorthodox background, there were also those who retired from professional competitions. Among them, there was no lack of taekwondo fighters, Muay Thai fighters, Sanda fighters, boxers, judo fighters, and even sumo wrestlers. However, no matter how powerful those people were, they were all beaten black and blue by Feng Xibiao. Some of them could not even take care of themselves for the rest of their lives. Although these people could not be said to be weak, they were too particular about routines. Everyone's kung fu had various rules. They had been immersed in this kind of kung fu for half of their lives, which caused them to stick to the rules. There was no way for them to adapt to the rules of the underground arena. There were no rules in the underground fighting arena. As long as you didn't bring any firearms, you could fight however you wanted with your bare hands. As long as you could knock down your opponent, you would win. This kind of rule was especially suitable for people like Feng Xibiao who came from an unorthodox background, because they didn't have any rules to begin with. Really? That's great. Feng Jianeng was overjoyed when he heard it. He thought, no wonder Yang Ming could defeat the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club. It turned out that in the eyes of a ruthless person, it was nothing at all. Right, is there any rules in your competition? For example, what kind of moves can't be used? Feng Xibiao suddenly thought that this was not an underground fighting arena. Was there any rules? I don't want to be unable to perform well. Rules? There are no rules. Feng Jianeng quickly said, when Yang Ming challenged the president and vice president of the Taekwondo club, I saw the video. That Yang Ming didn't know the rules at all. He didn't have any routines when he fought. He even used the brick. The president of the Taekwondo club couldn't do anything. After all, Yang Ming came from an unorthodox background. It seemed that he was completely fighting randomly, but his brute force was also very powerful. Oh. Is that so? That's great. That's exactly what I want. I don't have any rules when I fight. As long as there are no rules in the competition, it's fine. Feng Xibiao nodded. Right, that brick. Is he holding it this time? This time we can make it clear in advance that weapons such as bricks are not allowed. Feng Jianing said. It doesn't matter. Let him hold it. That thing has no lethality at all. Feng Xibiao said indifferently. For an underground fighter like him, the physical resistance of his body was quite strong. Let alone the brick hitting his body, it didn't matter even if it hit his head. Because the power of boxing hit the head, it was far more damaging than the brick. He had already practiced, so the brick was nothing to be afraid of. Okay. Then you come over tomorrow? I have arranged the competition here. Feng Jianing asked. Okay, you first transfer 20,000 yuan to my account. I will get up and leave after I receive it. Feng Xibiao said. Although Feng Jianing was his relative, the deposit was indispensable. Feng Xibiao couldn't afford it if Feng Jianing didn't want to fight again. At that time, he couldn't say anything for the sake of his relatives. He couldn't beat Feng Jianing up, right? Therefore, he first asked for a deposit of 20,000 yuan. It wasn't a lot. He believed that Feng Jianing could accept it. Even if it was a wasted trip, he could still get 20,000 yuan. No problem. Tell me your account number. Feng Jianing agreed readily. I will transfer the money to you through online banking. My account number is XXXXX. It's XX Bank. Feng Xibiao gave an account number to Feng Jianing. Okay, I have noted it down. You can check it later. Once the money is here, you can leave. Feng Jianing said. No problem. Feng Xibiao said. This matter was settled. After Fan Jinja transferred 20,000 yuan to Feng Xibiao's account, he began to reply to the post on the internet. As for Yang Ming's challenge, it was scheduled for noon 2 days later, in the school's gymnasium. As for renting the school's gymnasium, it was a piece of cake for Fan Jinja. Xiao Biao from the student union was his buddy. He just had to let Xiao Biao talk to him, and he could rent the school's gymnasium. At that time, he just had to give the student union some money symbolically. Husband, Fan Jinja replied to the post again. Chen Mengyan didn't expect Fan Jinja to reply so quickly. Fan Jinja had set the time for the competition just after Zhou Jejia posted the post. Chapter 1908. Oh. What did he say? Asked Yang Ming after he heard it. He scheduled a challenge at noon 2 days later, which is the day after tomorrow at the school's gymnasium. The loser will do things according to the rules set previously, said Chen Mengyan. Okay, let Jejia reply to him and say that I agreed to the time, said Yang Ming as he nodded. Okay, I will reply to him now, said Zhou Jejia. Zhaoing also heard that Fan Jinja was going to challenge Yang Ming immediately. After all, she was the female lead involved in the post. After the post became popular, a graduate student called Zhaoing and told Zhaoing about it. Zhaoing didn't believe it at first, but the student said that the evidence was conclusive, so Zhaoing had some doubts. After that, Wang Xiaoyan called and told Zhaoing about the challenge post. Zhaoing completely believed it this time. She quickly turned on the computer, went to the school forum, and saw the challenge post. But she didn't expect that Yang Ming had already agreed to Fan Jinja's challenge. This made Zhaoing both happy and worried. She was afraid that Yang Ming would be impulsive and get hurt. But when she thought of Yang Ming's identity, she realized that he was an agent. His skills must be extraordinary. How could he not be Fan Jinja's opponent? Thinking of this, Zhaoing calmed down again, but she was a little nervous. I don't know what Chen Mengyan will think after knowing this. Will she be suspicious? Will she stop Yang Ming? Zhao Ying was afraid that Chen Mengyan would denounce her. Looking at the post on the forum, she hesitated whether to call Yang Ming and ask. Zhao Ying's personality was like this. She would hesitate when she encountered something. It was precisely because of this that her relationship with Yang Ming was so bumpy. Now that she had finally gotten the right result, Zhao Ying didn't want any more mistakes in the middle. Zhao Ying wouldn't be able to withstand any storm. She would rather be a secret lover than be separated from Yang Ming because of some accident. Therefore, Zhao Ying felt that Fan Jinja's challenge was completely unnecessary. So what if he chased after her? She didn't like him at all. At most, she would just reject him if he was a little troublesome. Yang Ming's reply to the challenge was equivalent to indirectly admitting to others that she had a relationship with him. Zhao Ying didn't want this to affect the relationship between her and Yang Ming, so she finally made up her mind. She gritted her teeth and called Yang Ming. Yang Ming was driving when his phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was Zhao Ying's phone number. He couldn't help but be stunned. Then, he glanced at Chen Mengyan and the other two from the rearview mirror with a guilty conscience. Seeing that they were all studying the post on the forum, he was slightly relieved and picked up the phone. Hello, Sister Ying? Zhao Ying was stunned when she heard Yang Ming's address. Didn't Yang Ming start calling me Ying Ying or Zhao Ying? Why did he call me Sister Ying again? However, Zhao Ying was not stupid. When she heard Yang Ming say this, she immediately realized that there should be others around Yang Ming. She couldn't expose her relationship with him. So, regardless of whether others could hear her voice on the phone, Zhao Ying changed her tone and said, Yang Ming, Fan Jinja challenged you? And, you also saw the post? Asked Yang Ming. Yeah, Yang Ming, how can you agree to him? He's being unreasonable. Just ignore him. If you agree to his request, what if something happens? Zhao Ying lowered her voice as she said this. You have a girlfriend. Does Chen Mengyan know about this? Did she allow you to accept the challenge? What if something happens to you? How can I explain it to her? Although Zhao Ying's words were very harsh, Yang Ming could hear the deeper meaning of Zhao Ying's words. That was, what if Chen Mengyan knew about his relationship with Zhao Ying? That was why Zhao Ying made this call. Mengyan and the others are also in the car. They all think that this Fan Jinja is a bit too much. If we don't teach him a lesson, he may become worse in the future. So, it is better to take this opportunity to teach him a lesson. Yang Ming said with a smile. His words were said openly, but Zhao Ying could also understand the hint in it. That was, Chen Mengyan knew about this matter, and Chen Mengyan was beside Yang Ming at this moment. He was also reminding Zhao Ying not to say anything too intimate, so as to avoid problems. How could Zhao Ying not understand? However, she heard that it was Chen Mengyan's idea, so she didn't mention this matter anymore. She was worried that Chen Mengyan would think too much after knowing about it. However, since it was Chen Mengyan's idea, there was no need to worry. She could completely relax. Okay, in this case, you should be careful. Zhao Ying said, if I have time the day after tomorrow, I will also go and watch the battle. But don't get hurt, and don't force it. If you really can't do it, just lose. It's not a big deal. Okay, Sister Ying, you have to come and cheer for me. Yang Ming said with a smile, that's it for now. I'm hanging up. And, goodbye. Zhao Ying didn't say anything else. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming said, Sister Ying called and asked me how to respond to Fan Jinja. Sister Ying is worried about you. She doesn't want you to get hurt. What's wrong with that? Chen Mengyan said, Sister Ying is very concerned about you. Although this matter is for her, she also doesn't want you to fight, right? Yeah, Sister Ying also said that I should ignore it. But it's not a big deal. It's just a small matter. Yang Ming said with a smile. Look at you. It's as if you are very powerful. Although Chen Mengyan said so, she also knew that Yang Ming was indeed very powerful. Even when they were in high school, Yang Ming's title of Fighting King was already known to the whole school. After he became an agent, his skills improved by leaps and bounds. How could Fan Jinjia and the others be compared to him? Yang Ming parked the car in the courtyard of the school's family area. He took Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia upstairs and rang Lu Weishan's doorbell. After the Chinese New Year, Yang Ming visited Lu Weishan once. After that, he was busy with all kinds of messy things, so he didn't visit again. Seeing the familiar door, Yang Ming was filled with emotions. I have known Lu Weishan for more than half a year. It passed in a blink of an eye. The first time I came, I was with Lan Ling. Lan Ling, I don't know how you are now. Are you okay? That time at the airport. Who is the man beside you? Chapter 1909. Yang Ming shook his head and put down his thoughts of Lan Ling. When he turned his head, he saw Chen Mengyan with a faint smile. Yang Ming was suddenly a little embarrassed. It seemed that Chen Mengyan saw through his thoughts. Why? Do you miss Lan Ling? Chen Mengyan glanced at Yang Ming and asked. Oh, yeah. The first time I came to Godfather's house, I was with Lan Ling. Yang Ming didn't deny it. Anyway, Chen Mengyan also knew about the matter between him and Lan Ling. If you go to Yunnan this time, if you find her, bring her back. Chen Mengyan sighed and said, I will try to get along with her. Mengyan, you? Yang Ming was a little surprised. He didn't expect Chen Mengyan to suddenly say these words. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen it before? Chen Mengyan glared at Yang Ming. It has already happened. What can I do if I avoid it? Don't I still have to face reality? However, this is the last one. The villa at home is almost full. Hee hee. Yang Ming could only smile bitterly. The last one? What could he say? Could he tell Chen Mengyan that there were still a few people outside? Wouldn't that make Chen Mengyan furious? However, it was also a good sign that Chen Mengyan could accept Lan Ling. Although she already knew of Lan Ling's existence, at least this was a good start. It proved that Chen Mengyan's thoughts were changing little by little. The door of Lu Weishan's house opened. The person who opened the door was Lu Weishan's wife, Chu Huifang, who was also Yang Ming's godmother. Godmother. Yang Ming called out kindly. Big Ming, you are here. Come in quickly. Your godfather said that you were coming and asked me to prepare the meal. I was just about to cook when you came. I wasn't ready yet. Hey, these three are. Chu Huifang looked at the three beauties behind Yang Ming with some surprise. Godmother, let me introduce them to you. These three are Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia. They. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed when he said this. After all, introducing three girlfriends at once was somewhat unbelievable. However, Yang Ming couldn't not introduce them. After all, he was a man. His face was thicker. He couldn't let Chen Mengyan and introduce themselves, right? Hee hee, all of them are Big Ming's girlfriends? Chu Huifang also knew a little about Yang Ming's matters. She had also heard some things from Shaoqing, so she wasn't unfamiliar with the names of Yang Ming's three girlfriends. Although she hadn't seen them in person, it didn't affect anything. Godmother. Chen Mengyan and the other two were also a little embarrassed, but they still followed Yang Ming to call Chu Huifang godmother. Godmother, they have already met my parents, and they have already given me money to change their names, so they are considered my wives. They are also considered as your goddaughter-in-law. Yang Ming said, you don't have to be polite. If there is anything in the future, just ask them to do it. They are also very familiar with Sister Shaoqing. This. Godmother also has to give them money to change their names. Chu Huifang said with some surprise, this house hasn't been so lively for a long time. Big Ming has a wife, and there are three at once. I'm really happy. Since her son and daughter-in-law disappeared, Chu Huifang was very depressed. Although Xiao Qing and Yang Ming made up for the pain in her heart, she always felt that something was missing in this house. After all, Xiao Qing and Yang Ming were both single. There were still few times when they could come to the house together, so Chu Huifang always felt that the house wasn't lively enough. But now, Yang Ming brought back 3 daughters-in-law at once. This family would be lively in the future. Godmother, you don't have to give it, right? When I called you godmother, you had already given me a red packet. Yang Ming said with a smile, this includes the 3 of them. So, since I have given it to you, I have to give it to them. Chu Huifang waved her hand and said, you all come in first. Wait a minute. I will give you all a red packet. After that, Chu Huifang walked into the room quickly. Yang Ming could only smile helplessly. After all, this was the rule of the elders. He couldn't forcibly stop it, right? Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia were very surprised. When they came before, they were very nervous. They were also afraid that Yang Ming's godparents wouldn't be so open-minded. They couldn't accept the fact that the 3 of them were Yang Ming's women. If they only recognized Chen Mengyan, it would be awkward. This wasn't what Chen Mengyan wanted to see. Although Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia wouldn't have any complaints, Chen Mengyan wouldn't feel comfortable. She had long regarded the 2 of them as sisters. How could she ignore them? Now it seemed that Chu Huifang had already known about the 3 of them, and she knew it from Sister Xiao Qing. Then, there shouldn't be any problem. She even gave the 3 of them money to change their names. The 3 of them who were in suspense finally settled down. Not long after Chu Huifang entered the room, she took out 3 big red packets. Looking at the thickness of the inside, there should be at least 10,000 yuan. It was almost the same as the big red packet given to Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan, this is for you. Chu Huifang handed one of the red packets to Chen Mengyan, and gave the other 2 to Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia. Then, she said, in the future, you have to change to calling me godmother. This is also your home. Come visit often in the future. Okay, thank you godmother. Chu Mengyao, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun thanked her in unison and accepted the red packets. After all, this represented Chu Huifang's intention. Moreover, Chu Huifang's family wasn't in a difficult situation. This 10,000 yuan was nothing. I'm going to the kitchen to cook. Your godfather may be back soon. Chu Huifang said, I just started to prepare. I don't know when it will be done. It's okay to eat later, right? I didn't consider Mengyan and the others before, so I prepared a little less. Now, I need to add some dishes. Godmother, we just finished eating. Don't worry. Just treat this as a midnight snack, okay? Yang Ming said. That's good. Your godfather also ate a work meal at night. I also cooked noodles. As long as you aren't in a hurry. Chu Huifang nodded and said, then, I'm going to work. You all go to the living room to watch TV first. Godmother, let us help you. How could Chen Mengyan be willing to watch TV? She wanted to follow Chu Huifang to the kitchen with Zhou Jiejia and Lin Jiyun. Don't. I'll do it myself. You all go and watch TV. I don't need your help. Chu Huifang waved her hand and refused Chen Mengyan's proposal. How can we let you do it alone? Let us help you, too. Chen Mengyan thought that Chu Huifang was being polite, so she wanted to go to the kitchen together without any explanation. Chapter 1910. Mengyan, godmother really doesn't need to help. You can just sit on the sofa and watch TV. At this time, Yang Ming said to Chen Mengyan and the others with a bitter smile. Ah. Chen Mengyan was stunned. She couldn't help but frown. She thought, godmother is an elder. How can we just sit back and enjoy the fruits of her labor? Yang Ming usually isn't such an impolite person. What happened today? Meng Yan, you don't understand godmother. Yang Ming saw that Chen Meng Yan misunderstood and quickly explained, Godfather has a lot of social activities. The school also has a cafeteria, so godmother usually doesn't cook. But godmother can't be idle, so every time there are guests, godmother enjoys cooking the most. She can handle it alone. She doesn't like others to help. When I first came, I also wanted to help, but I was stopped by Sister Xiaoqing. Godmother is very powerful. She can do it all by herself. Hee, Big Ming understands me. He knows that I only have this little fun, so you should wait in the living room. Wait for me to cook by myself. Chu Huifang smiled and nodded. Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jiejia, and Lin Jiyun listened to Chu Huifang's words and suddenly realized. It turned out that it wasn't Yang Ming who was impolite, but there was a reason. It turned out that godmother was going to cook to have fun. No wonder she didn't let others help. As long as you think about it carefully, it can be understood. Because Chu Huifang retired at home, she had nothing to do. She was usually alone. Even if she wanted to cook, no one would eat so much food. Now that there were guests at home, it was time for her to show off. Why would she let others help? However, Chen Mengyan still said, then we will help you to wash the vegetables. Is that okay? That's fine, but I will say it first. You can only wash the dishes and vegetables. I still have to do the cutting and frying of the vegetables. Chu Huifang was afraid that Chen Mengyan would steal her business, so she made a statement in advance. Okay, then we will do as godmother says. Whatever you ask us to do, we will do it. Chen Mengyan nodded and said. Calling her godmother was easier than calling her mother. It was also more acceptable. Chen Mengyan took Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia to go to the kitchen together with Chu Huifang. Yang Ming was alone in the living room, but he had nothing to do. He called his parents and told them that he had arrived at Godfather's, so they didn't have to be worried, but calm. He did it was just that they didn't think that the Zhao Ying who called was already their daughter-in-law. Zhao Ying's identity made Yang Ming a little embarrassed. Before he left, Yang Ming didn't have time to explain to Chen Mengyan. In 3 days, Yang Ming didn't want to create more problems and make everyone unhappy. All of this should be planned after he returned safely. If he couldn't come back, everything would be meaningless. The doorbell rang and pulled Yang Ming's thoughts back to reality. Yang Ming stood up and opened the door. Lu Weishan was back. Godfather. Yang Ming took the briefcase for Lu Weishan and put it aside. He took the slippers for him. Big Ming, we are here. Lu Weishan smiled and nodded to Yang Ming. But when he put on the slippers and looked at the kitchen, he was slightly stunned. Lu Weishan didn't expect that Yang Ming actually brought 3 girlfriends together. This made Lu Weishan a little surprised. Although Lu Weishan learned about Yang Ming's behavior in school from Xiaoqing, he also thought that Yang Ming was just playing around. These 3 girlfriends were simply joking. Only Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's girlfriend. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia were just Chen Mengyan's friends. But today, he brought them back. That was different. This showed that these 3 people had a close relationship with Yang Ming. Godfather, they are all my girlfriends. They are helping godmother to cook. Yang Ming saw the doubts in Lu Weishan's eyes, so he explained with a smile. Oh. Lu Weishan looked at Yang Ming strangely. You kid, what is going on? How many secrets do you have? These 3 people are all your girlfriends? Yeah. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. They are all my girlfriends. They just called me godmother, and godmother gave them money to change their names. Lu Weishan nodded. The 3 of them are in harmony with each other. It is quite strange. But have you ever thought about what to do in the future? And you are a national staff member. How can you have 3 wives? In the future. If there is a future, I will naturally find a reasonable solution for them. Yang Ming smiled self-deprecatingly. But as for the identity of a national staff member, my identity is quite special. Not only will they not restrict me with this requirement, but they will also try to meet my conditions as much as possible. Oh. What do you mean? Lu Weishan was slightly stunned. It seemed that Yang Ming's identity was quite special. It wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. Lu Weishan suddenly thought of Yang Ming's Supernatural Investigation Bureau ID. Lu Weishan had never heard of such an organization. Could it be that this was a special organization? Godfather, in fact, my real identity is what you saw today. It is the identity written on the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's ID. Yang Ming said, I belong to a special agent who performs some dangerous missions. Because I have some special abilities, in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, I can be regarded as an ace agent, Yang Ming said it vaguely. It was also because of his special abilities. Yang Ming was still not fully prepared to confess to everyone, so he vaguely let it pass. He believed that Lu Weishan wouldn't ask specifically. Ace agent. After Lu Weishan heard Yang Ming's words, besides being shocked, he smiled bitterly. He didn't expect Yang Ming to have such an identity. When did Yang Ming join the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? When did he become an agent? These were all mysteries, Godfather. These things may sound unimaginable to you. They are too far away from your life. Yang Ming also understood Lu Weishan's current expression. When he told his parents before, his parents also had the same reaction. After all, this matter was a bit strange compared to ordinary life. Chapter 1911. Yeah. Special Agent. I only saw it on TV and in movies. I didn't expect my godson to be one too. Lu Weishan sighed. But you, kid, why did you keep hiding it from me? If Vice Principal Su didn't want to expel you today, were you still planning to hide it from me? Did you treat me as an outsider? Godfather, you misunderstood. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Godfather, it's not what you think. I deliberately hid it from you, or I treated you as an outsider. Then what's going on? It wasn't that Lu Weishan didn't believe Yang Ming, but Yang Ming only told him about it now. It made Lu Weishan unhappy. After all, he treated Yang Ming as a relative. Why would Yang Ming hide such a big thing from him? Godfather, in fact, I just came from my parents' place. I just confessed to them about my identity. Yang Ming quickly explained, Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia, I just told them today. Today? Lu Weishan was stunned after listening to Yang Ming's explanation. Why did you wait until today to explain? Is it because of what happened today? Vice Principal Su wanted to expel you, so you said it? That's not it. Yang Ming shook his head. It's just a coincidence that Vice Principal Su wanted to expel me. Even if this didn't happen, I still wanted to tell everyone about my identity. Oh, so that's the case. But why did you wait so long to tell everyone about your identity? Lu Weishan still didn't quite understand Yang Ming's meaning. In fact, my identity has always been a secret. If it wasn't necessary, I wouldn't tell everyone. But this time, it's a little different. As Yang Ming spoke until here, he raised his head and looked at the direction of the kitchen. He saw that Chen Mengyan and the rest were busy, so he was relieved. This time I told my relatives because 3 days later, I have to lead a team to carry out a very special mission. The nature of the mission is very complicated and dangerous. Of course, I didn't tell my parents and Mengyan. I just told them that the mission may last for a long time. It could be a year, or it could be 8 or 10 years. You're going to carry out a mission? Lu Weishan was shocked and suddenly realized. The reason why Yang Ming chose to confess today was that he was going to carry out a mission, and this mission was very dangerous. From Yang Ming's words, Lu Weishan heard the possibility that Yang Ming might not be able to return. He. Yes, so I have no choice but to confess to my relatives. But for my parents and Meng Yan and the rest, I have no choice and I can't bear to tell them the truth. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and said, you also know that my parents are old, and Meng Yan and the rest are too young. I really don't want to hurt them. Then you're hurting me? Lu Weishan listened to Yang Ming's words and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Godfather, you're a great scholar. Naturally, you can distinguish between right and wrong. Maybe you can't bear to let me go, but in the face of great benefits, you can still make a choice. Yang Ming chose to confess to Lu Weishan because of this. Lu Weishan was a high-level intellectual. Naturally, he knew what was right and wrong. Hee, you can just give me a tall hat. Lu Weishan smiled and shook his head. But you're right. Although I'm very worried about you, you're working for the country. I support you, as long as you're careful. Let's not talk about those depressing words. In short, there's hope as long as the green hills last, there's hope. Of course, I understand. Yang Ming nodded and said, I'll try my best to be careful. I won't let everyone worry about me. As for whether you can't go or not, I won't say or ask. Because I know that if you go, you naturally have your reasons. Lu Weishan sighed and said. Yeah, this time, I have to go on this mission. Yang Ming nodded and said, moreover, someone has to go. If I don't go, someone else will. This is a man's responsibility. Well said. I really didn't misjudge you. Lu Weishan looked at Yang Ming with gratification and nodded. A man with responsibility is a good man. Hee, Godfather, don't look at me like that. I'm a little embarrassed. Yang Ming scratched his head and said awkwardly, but to be honest, I'm not very willing to go. It's just that I don't have a choice, haha. That's natural. But you know how to give up. That's already very impressive. Lu Weishan waved his hand. All right, Godfather, don't praise me. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. All right, then I won't praise you. Oh right, you brought the three of them here because of this to say goodbye to me, right? You're afraid that I'll be lonely in the future, so you brought them here to visit me? Lu Weishan asked with a smile. Godfather, you're right. After I leave, I don't know when I'll be back. So, I asked them to come here more often when they're free. It's fine as long as you and Godmother aren't annoyed. Yang Ming said. What's there to be annoyed about? I'm happy that the house is lively. Lu Weishan shook his head. When people are old, they don't like to see the house too empty. After Tianqi went missing, the house was too empty. I'm already so old. I reckon that I won't be able to get any news about Tianqi in my lifetime. So, I'm very happy that you all come to accompany me more often. Oh right, Godfather, there's something very important that I need to tell you. Yang Ming suddenly thought of the news about Lu Tianqi that Guan Shuamin told him at his house. Oh. What's the matter? Lu Weishan saw that Yang Ming was serious, so he raised his spirits and asked carefully. Godfather, it's about my brother. Lu Tianqi. Yang Ming said, I heard some news about him from Professor Guan Shuamin. What? There's news about Tianqi? Lu Weishan was shocked when he heard Yang Ming's words. He suddenly stood up and looked at Yang Ming anxiously. Yang Ming, is what you said true? There's really news about Tianqi. Godfather, don't get too excited. Yang Ming quickly stood up and supported Lu Weishan. It's just a guess from Professor Guan. It might not be true. It's just that having news is better than having no news at all, right? Lu Weishan hadn't been so excited for many years. At this moment it was difficult for him to calm down. He took a deep breath and sat back on the sofa. Yang Ming, you really want to scare me. Since it's just a guess, why don't you just say it directly? You don't have to make it sound so serious. Isn't it making my heart unable to take it? Chapter 1912. Godfather, I didn't expect you to be so excited. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed when he said this. However, it was understandable. Lu Tianqi was Lu Weishan's son. Which father wouldn't be worried about his son's whereabouts? If it was his own father, he would probably be the same. Even if it wasn't Lu Tianqi, his godfather would also be excited when he heard the news if he went on a mission and didn't come back for many years. Okay, let's talk in the study room. Don't let your godmother hear about this. I'm afraid that the bigger the hope, the bigger the disappointment. She can't take this blow. Lu Weishan waved his hand and stood up. Okay. Yang Ming nodded. I also have the same idea. It's best not to tell godmother about the mission that I will be leading 3 days later. You can tell her slowly after I leave. Okay, but the mission is dangerous. I won't tell her. Your godmother's psychological quality isn't as good as mine. I'm afraid that she can't accept it. Lu Weishan nodded and said, later on, tell your 3 girlfriends not to say anything. They won't. These things need to be said by me, then they will follow me. They won't take the initiative to tell godmother. Yang Ming was still very assured about Chen Mengyan and the other 2. They weren't reckless girls. That's good. Let's go into the study room. Lu Weishan pushed open the door of the study room. After letting Yang Ming in, he said to Yang Ming, close the door. Okay. Yang Ming nodded and closed the door of the study room. Lu Weishan didn't sit on the chair behind the desk in the study room. Instead, he sat on the sofa. After sitting, Lu Weishan patted the seat beside him and said to Yang Ming, Big Ming, sit down. Let's have a heart-to-heart talk. Okay. Yang Ming also sat beside Lu Weishan. Godfather, according to Professor Guan Shuamin, brother Lu Tianqi was an expert in bacteriology. According to Professor Guan Shuamin's speculation, could he have gone to Yunnan to study voodoo? Yunnan? Research on goo poison? After listening to Yang Ming's words, Lu Weishan was slightly stunned. Then, he said thoughtfully, now that you mention it, I do have some impression of it. Back then, Lin Dongfang, godly Dr. Lin, had a good personal relationship with my son. They often discussed medical matters together. Furthermore, I have also heard their conversation. It seemed to be related to some kind of voodoo. They said that the voodoo was actually a type of bacteria. Oh? If that's the case, then what Professor Guan said is true. Yang Ming said. Yes, but can he go to Yunnan? As Lu Weishan spoke till here, he had some doubts. Even if he wanted to go to Yunnan to research the goo poison, he could have told me. He wouldn't have left without telling me, right? Even if he told me, I wouldn't stop him from going to Yunnan. But why didn't he tell me this? I'm not too sure. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Maybe Brother Lu had some difficulties at that time? Difficulties? Maybe, but this is just a guess. He might not have gone to Yunnan. Researching the goo poison is researching the goo poison, but it doesn't necessarily have to go to Yunnan. Lu Weishan shook his head. It's just that Lin Dongfang also disappeared. If he was also there, we could ask about his son's whereabouts. Did godly Dr. Lin and Brother Lu disappear together? Yang Ming asked. It should be around the same time, but I'm not too sure if they disappeared together. Lu Weishan shook his head. So, it's a bit far-fetched to judge that Lu Tianqi went to Yunnan just from this aspect. Godfather, it's indeed far-fetched to judge that Brother Lu went to Yunnan from this situation. However, I have a very important thing to tell you. Yang Ming said, Godfather, do you still remember Lan Ling? Lan Ling? Of course, I remember that little girl. Lu Weishan smiled and said, how can I forget her? In the beginning, you all rented my house, right? Yes, then do you remember when Lan Ling first came to you? She was in Brother Lu Tianqi's room. She pointed at Brother Lu's wedding photo and said that she seemed to have seen Brother Lu somewhere. Yang Ming said the reason that he was sure of in his heart. Oh. Now that you said it, I really have an impression. At that time, little Lan Ling did say that. I was also shocked. Lu Weishan also nodded his head with a serious expression. Yeah, at that time, we thought that she had recognized the wrong person, so we didn't take it seriously. But now that we think about it carefully, where did Lan Ling come from? Yang Ming looked at Lu Weishan and asked. Lan Ling. Yunnan Miao Village. Lu Weishan slammed the sofa's armrest and became excited again. Could it be that Lan Ling saw Tianqi in Yunnan Miao Village? Yes, this is also where my suspicion lies. If it is just based on Lan Ling's words, then it is a bit far-fetched to suspect that brother Lu Tianqi went to Yunnan. But if it is combined with Professor Guan Xueming's words, then I can be at least 50% sure that brother Lu Tianqi should be in Yunnan. At least he appeared in Yunnan. Yang Ming nodded and said. So, you are now telling me about Lu Tianqi's news, and you are going to Yunnan in 3 days. Lu Weishan looked at Yang Ming with some surprise. Yes, the place I am going this time is near a Fu Miao village in Yunnan. If it is possible, I want to find brother Lu Tianqi. Since I am the person in charge of this mission and the captain of the team, I have this authority. Yang Ming smiled and said, of course, this is not considered using power for personal gain. My relationship with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is actually to use and be used. At that time, I also made it clear to them that it was mutually beneficial. So, although I am the trump card of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's Secret Service team, I can only be considered as a subordinate member. Big Ming, I am very happy that you have this kind of thought. It doesn't matter if I can find him or not. It has been so many years, and I am also more open-minded. Lu Weishan waved his hand and said, I just hope that you will put your own safety first. Don't delay the official business because of your brother. Otherwise, I will feel uneasy. I understand. Of course, under the condition that it does not affect the progress of the mission, I will try to find brother Lu Tianqi. Yang Ming said, and I will also inform my superiors in advance. That's good, but if the superiors don't agree, then forget it. Lu Weishan didn't want to put Yang Ming in a difficult position. They will agree. Yang Ming smiled indifferently. Chapter 1913. This time, in order for Xia Bingbao to carry out this mission, it could be said that as long as Yang Ming's request wasn't too outrageous or magical, he would find a way to satisfy it. Of course, Yang Ming really didn't trouble him, nor did he make any excessive requests. The only request was to let Xia Bingbao take care of his family and friends after he left. As long as you try your best. Lu Weishan said, these words, let's not talk about it in the study room. When we go out later, don't say it at the dinner table. As for your godmother, I will find an opportunity to talk to her slowly. I understand. Yang Ming responded. But for Qing Qing's side, you should talk to her personally. She should be back in a while. Lu Weishan suddenly said. Okay, I will talk to Sister Xiao Qing personally about this matter. Yang Ming originally planned to be frank with Xiao Qing. You still call her Sister Xiao Qing? Lu Weishan smiled slightly and looked at Yang Ming mischievously. Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't understand his godfather's meaning, but when he saw Lu Weishan's half-smile, he suddenly felt a chill in his heart. Did godfather discover something? However, Yang Ming still forced himself to ask calmly, Godfather, what do you mean by that? Of course, I call her Sister Xiao Qing. Am I calling her god-sister? Big Ming, do you still want to hide it from me? Lu Weishan didn't answer Yang Ming's words, but asked instead. Hide it. I don't. Yang Ming's heart became more and more uneasy. Did Godfather really know something? Big Ming, I probably know about the matter between you and Qing Qing. I didn't say it before because you were still young, and Qing Qing was willing. I didn't want to care so much. Lu Weishan saw that Yang Ming didn't admit it, but he wasn't angry. He just waved his hand and said slowly, "But now it seems that you are not young anymore. You can already serve the country. You are also a man with an indomitable spirit. You are a person with a sense of responsibility. I believe that you will be able to handle these matters well. So, as your godfather, and also Qing's godfather, I'm asking you from the perspective of an elder. You're about to carry out a mission. Shouldn't you also give Qing an explanation or a statement?" When Yang Ming heard that Lu Weishan had already made things clear to this point, he knew that Lu Weishan had seen through his relationship with Xiao Qing. He suddenly blushed. "Godfather. I didn't mean to hide it from you. I know. You guys feel that it wouldn't be good if news of us being sworn siblings got out, right?" Lu Weishan waved his hand and asked. "Yeah. Besides, you are the principal of the school." Yang Ming nodded. "You guys. I'm not an old-fashioned person. What era is this? Don't talk about being sworn siblings. Even if we are sworn siblings, we can still get married." Lu Weishan shook his head and said, "You guys are really thinking too much. At the beginning, I thought that you guys were embarrassed. After all, Qing had an incident before, so I was afraid that she didn't want to publicize her relationship with you this time. She just wanted to enjoy the sweetness of love in private. I didn't expect that Godfather actually knew about it." Yang Ming laughed a few times and said, "In fact, when we are together, there are many kinds of scruples. There are scruples about my girlfriend, and there are also scruples about you. But I don't have any scruples about myself. As long as Qing is willing, I can announce to the world that she is my girlfriend or even wife." "Oh." Yang Ming's statement made Lu Weishan stunned. He originally thought that it was because of Yang Ming. After all, Xiao Qing was much older than Yang Ming, so Xiao Qing would definitely consider Yang Ming's feelings and face. She wouldn't publicize this relationship. But now it seemed that this wasn't the case at all. Yang Ming actually didn't care. However, with Yang Ming's words, Lu Weishan was completely relieved. At least, Yang Ming wouldn't easily let Xiao Qing down. So, Lu Weishan said, "I'm very happy that you can say this. These are the matters of you young people. Then, I will leave it to you young people to deal with. I won't get involved." "Hee, Godfather, you agreed? That's great." For a long time, Lu Weishan's attitude toward Yang Ming and Xiao Qing had been a worry for Yang Ming. He didn't dare to ask, and he didn't dare to say it directly. He could only be careful in front of Lu Weishan. But now, this worry seemed to be unnecessary. "Right, Yang Ming, I heard from Qing that you want to find a Chinese medicine practitioner to treat Qing." Lu Weishan suddenly thought of something, so he asked. "Indeed, I heard that there was a famous doctor who could cure Sister Xiao Qing. Ugh, that is, Qing's infertility, and he was very confident." As Yang Ming said this, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. "I thought that with my current strength and ability, I could invite this famous doctor, but I didn't expect this famous doctor to disappear. However, Shen Yushi's matter let me know the whereabouts of the famous doctor, but his whereabouts are unknown." "Oh. You mean Lin Dongfang, Miracle Dr. Lin?" Lu Weishan was stunned, and then he couldn't help but laugh. "Sure enough, he was looking for him. If you were looking for him, then you wouldn't be able to find him." Lu Weishan said, "I knew it. Qing's illness, I also took her to Guanshueming. Guanshueming wasn't sure if he could cure it. Qing's heart was already dead at that time, and she didn't want to get married. Curing her infertility was also dispensable, so she didn't waste time trying to treat it. After all, she had to live in Guanshueming's house, which would delay her work." "I see." Yang Ming nodded. "Even Professor Guanshueming can't do anything about it. Only the missing miracle doctor can cure it. But this doesn't matter. If I can come back, it won't be too late to think of a way. If I can't come back..." Hee. Yang Ming said this and didn't continue. He believed that Lu Weishan could understand his meaning. Lu Weishan naturally understood Yang Ming's meaning. He nodded, stood up, and patted Yang Ming's shoulder. Okay, let's go out. If we stay in the study room for too long, your godmother might suspect something. Okay, let's go out and see how their supper preparation is going. Yang Ming and Lu Weishan walked out of the study room together. They saw that Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia were still helping their godmother to prepare supper in the kitchen. They didn't notice the situation here, so they were relieved. Yang Ming and Lu Weishan came to the door of the kitchen together. Lu Weishan smiled and said, "Old woman, you don't have to be busy with so many dishes. It's enough." Chapter 1914. It's not much. 6 dishes and a soup. There are many people today. Qing will come back later. We are a family. How can there be less dishes? Chu Huifang said with a smile. Well, then 6 dishes it is. Lu Weishan thought about it and agreed. Today, there were 7 people including Xiao Qing. 6 dishes and a soup was really not much. Back in the living room, Yang Ming and Lu Weishan no longer discussed the previous topic. Instead, they talked about some of the things that happened in the school after Yang Ming left. There was no suspense about Lu Weishan taking over the position of the principal. As for Yang Ming, not only could he retain his student status, but he could also graduate smoothly on time. It was even possible to graduate early. Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia could also graduate early. This wasn't Lu Weishan abusing his position for personal gain, but Xia Bingbao would definitely inform him. For a special person like Yang Ming who had made outstanding contributions to society, the school naturally had to take care of him and his family. Lu Weishan was Yang Ming's godfather. It was just a coincidence, so it was easier to talk to him. If you didn't say it, I wouldn't know. After you explained it like this, I feel that the power of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is not small. Lu Weishan listened to Yang Ming's words and couldn't help but sigh. You can intervene in any case and have the power to investigate anything. Then, as the principal, am I not under your jurisdiction? He. Yang Ming smiled noncommittally. Godfather's words are not wrong, but even if there is a privilege, we will not use it indiscriminately. We will only intervene in those things that are more difficult to deal with. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a mess? It's not easy for you to think and restrain yourself like this. Lu Weishan said with appreciation, there are not many young people like you who are not arrogant and impatient. With such power, it's really rare to be able to restrain yourself. Godfather, don't say that. In fact, I am also a layman. For example, today, Vice Principal Su deliberately found trouble with me. Didn't I use my privilege to solve this problem? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Moreover, wasn't he later investigated and laid off? If it wasn't for the strong intervention of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau behind me, I believe that this matter wouldn't have come to a conclusion so quickly. Vice Principal Su had been in the school for a long time. It was impossible that he didn't have a powerful background. Even the current principal of the school couldn't do anything to him. But now, with the involvement of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, all his background has become invalid. Those who speak for him are also afraid of implicating them. You're right about that, but this is also a reasonable use. You're not running amok. Lu Weishan waved his hand. Vice Principal Su himself has a problem. If he didn't have a problem, he wouldn't be afraid of being investigated like me, right? That's true. Yang Ming had to admit this. When Chu Huifang and Chen Mengyan were almost done cooking, most of the dishes had been served on the table. Xiao Qing returned home. Lu Weishan had already called her before and said that Yang Ming was here, so Xiao Qing didn't feel strange when she saw Yang Ming. She was just a little surprised when she saw that Yang Ming brought his 3 girlfriends. However, the 3 of them knew her. When they were at Sun Jie's resort villa in Donghai City, they also met each other. They were very familiar with each other, so she said, Mengyan, Jiyun, Jejia, you are all here? Hello, Sister Xiaoqing. Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jejia greeted Xiaoqing almost in unison. After all, they were Yang Ming's girlfriends, and Xiaoqing was also their sister. Yang Ming, you're really amazing. You brought 3 girlfriends here. Aren't you afraid of scaring Godfather and Godmother? Xiaoqing glanced at Yang Ming and asked with a smile, but she didn't mean to blame him at all. Ugh. Sister Xiaoqing, Godfather and Godmother weren't scared. Not only that, but they were also given money to change their address. Yang Ming said with a smile. Oh. Really? Xiaoqing had some doubts this time. Is Godfather such an open-minded person? How can he accept that Yang Ming has 3 girlfriends all of a sudden? Yes, it must be that I mentioned this to Godfather before, so Godfather was already prepared in his heart. After a long time, he could accept it. Yeah, Sister Xiaoqing, do you also give them a red packet? Let them change their address to you and call you sister directly in the future? As Yang Ming said this, he winked at Xiaoqing. The meaning was self-evident. How could Xiaoqing not understand? She was slightly happy in her heart, but she said calmly, well, since Mom and Dad have given money to change their address, how can I, as the sister, not give it? As Xiaoqing said this, she took out a stack of money from her bag and divided it into 3 portions. She didn't count how much each portion was and handed it directly to Chen Mengyan, Zhou Jejia, and Lin Jiyun. This. Chen Mengyan was a little hesitant. Today, I have received 3 portions of money to change my address. Isn't it a bit too much? Take it. Yang Ming smiled. Mengyan, you don't have to be polite with Sister Xiaoqing. Thank you, Sister Xiaoqing. Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming and nodded. She accepted the money. When Zhou Jejia and Lin Jiyun saw that Chen Mengyan accepted the money, they also accepted the money and thanked her. In the future, when there is no one, just call me sister. Don't call me Sister Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing said with a smile. Okay, sister. Chen Mengyan nodded and said. Chu Huifang brought the last soup to the table. She looked at the few people in the living room and said, you guys hurry up and get ready to eat. Eat it while it's hot. It won't taste good when it's cold. Mengyan, Jiyun, Jejia, you guys quickly put away the money, then wash your hands and get ready to eat. Yang Ming said. Chen Mengyan and the others responded and went to the bathroom to wash their hands. Xiaoqing went back to her room to change clothes, but Yang Ming followed her. In Lu Weishan's house, Yang Ming followed Xiaoqing, so it wouldn't cause Chen Mengyan and the others to be suspicious. They didn't think much about it. Why are you following me? Yeah. What are you doing? When Xiaoqing just entered the door, Yang Ming's hand had already climbed on her shoulder. Xiaoqing was shocked. The door of the room wasn't closed yet, and Yang Ming was so bold. What if he was seen by others? She was so scared that she quickly closed the door. She glared at Yang Ming and said, aren't you afraid of being seen by others? What do you want to do today? Mengyan and the others went to wash their hands. They can't see. Yang Ming smiled and said indifferently. Chapter 1915. Can't see? They can't see it, but Dad is still in the living room. What will he think if he sees it? Why are you so anxious? How many days have you not seen each other? Xiaoqing saw that Yang Ming still had such a calm attitude, and she was a little anxious. If he sees it, then he sees it. Hee, in fact, it's nothing. Yang Ming said with a smile. What do you mean it's nothing? How can you be like this? What will Dad think after he sees our matter? Can you not let him worry? Xiaoqing was a little anxious suddenly. Qing, in fact, Godfather has already seen the relationship between the two of us, but he has been hindered by our thoughts before, so he didn't tell us. Yang Ming explained with a smile, before you came back, Godfather had already talked to me about the matter between you and me. Are you serious? Why don't I believe it? Xiao Qing naturally didn't believe it. After all, this matter was a bit strange. In her opinion, on the one hand, the matter between her and Yang Ming was relatively hidden. How did Godfather know? Even Chen Mengyan and the others didn't notice it. How did Godfather know about it? On the other hand, if Godfather knew about this matter, why would he wait until now to say it? And he only told it to Yang Ming alone? He should have called her and Yang Ming together and flown into a rage, shouldn't he? Of course, it's true. When did I lie to you? Yang Ming saw that Xiao Qing didn't believe it, so he could only explain with a bitter smile. This is hard to say. You often lie to me. Xiao Qing glared at Yang Ming. I still don't believe it. You go out first. I want to change my clothes. What's wrong with changing clothes? I just want to take a look. Yang Ming said with a thick face. What do you think? Even if Dad knows our relationship, what about Chen Mengyan? What about Lin Jiyun? It doesn't matter to Zhou Jiejia. Speaking of Zhou Jiejia, Xiao Qing suddenly blushed a little. It really made Xiao Qing very shy to let her see her and Yang Ming doing that kind of thing in the office. Fortunately, Zhou Jiejia never mentioned this matter again. The relationship between the two people was very harmonious, which made Xiao Qing relieved. When Yang Ming heard Xiao Qing talk about Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun, he suddenly felt discouraged. Yes, even if Godfather and Zhou Jiejia know about me and Xiao Qing, they don't know. When she sees me walking out of the room with Xiao Qing, who has changed into home clothes, it's hard to guarantee that she won't have any thoughts. How do you ask? Ask in front of Chen Mengyan? Xiao Qing said angrily, okay, hurry up and go out. Don't dawdle. Xiao Qing didn't avoid Yang Ming. She took off her top in front of Yang Ming and only wore a bra. This made Yang Ming feel a little envious. Seeing Yang Ming looking at her, Xiao Qing was even more helpless. You. Don't you care about Mengyan and the others? If you don't care, I don't care. You continue to look here. As Xiao Qing said this, she directly unbuttoned her bra. Yang Ming's eyes couldn't leave. However, Yang Ming was also a person with strong self-control. He laughed and quickly left Xiao Qing's room. In the end, he helped Xiao Qing close the door. After leaving Xiao Qing's room, he came to the living room. He saw that Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia had already washed their hands. They were helping Chu Huifang to put the dishes and chopsticks. Seeing that Yang Ming came out alone without Xiao Qing behind him, Chen Mengyan asked curiously, Yang Ming, where is sister? She wanted to change her clothes, so I came out first. Yang Ming said naturally. Oh, then you and Godfather sit first. We will be done soon. Chen Mengyan said. Okay. Yang Ming nodded. Seeing that Chen Mengyan didn't have any doubts, his heart was relieved. If he told the truth, Chen Mengyan wouldn't have any thoughts. If he hid it, then Chen Mengyan would be suspicious. When Xiao Qing changed her clothes, it was normal for Yang Ming to come over first. There was nothing to be suspicious about. Lu Weishan looked at Yang Ming, but he didn't say anything. During the meal, the atmosphere of the family was happy. Yang Ming didn't mention the mission 3 days later. Although Chen Mengyan had some doubts, since Yang Ming didn't say anything, she naturally wouldn't say anything. Or, in her guess, it should be that when she was helping Godmother to cook, Yang Ming had already told Lu Weishan that he was going to perform the mission. As for Godmother, she was waiting for Godfather to inform her. Chen Mengyan's thoughts were really close to the mark. If Yang Ming knew, he would probably secretly praise Chen Mengyan's cleverness. Come, Mengyan. Try Godmother's cooking. This mushroom with cabbage is Godmother's specialty. Chu Huifang was very proud to show off her culinary skills. Yang Ming was like this when he first came, but she was familiar with Yang Ming. She was used to it, so there was no way to show it again. But Chen Mengyan, Lin Jiyun, and Zhou Jiejia were eating here for the first time, so Chu Huifang would naturally show it again. Okay, godmother. Chen Mengyan responded sweetly. Then, she put a piece of cabbage in the bowl and ate it slowly. Then, she praised, "It's delicious. It's better than the restaurants." That's right. How can those restaurants compare to our homemade food? Chu Huifang was very happy after listening to Chen Mengyan's words. Jiyun, Jiejia, you should also try this dry fried beans and tofu. See what's the difference between it and the ones outside? Okay, godmother. Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia also picked up their chopsticks and tasted it. As for Chen Mengyan, they didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. After all, although Chen Mengyan gave in to them and showed that the three of them had an equal relationship, in fact, Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia were still led by Chen Mengyan. Chu Huifang let Chen Mengyan taste the dishes first. In their opinion, there was nothing wrong with Chu Huifang letting Chen Mengyan taste the dishes first. The two of them ate a few mouthfuls of the dishes on the table. Lin Jiyun also praised, "Godmother's culinary skills are much better than mine. Yeah, my family is in the hotel business. It's better than the restaurant's chef." Zhou Jiejia also praised. In the praise, Chu Huifang's vanity was greatly satisfied. Lu Weishan, Yang Ming, and Xiao Qing also knew her character, so they didn't speak. They waited for Chen Mengyan and the others to finish praising, then they began to talk about some trivial things. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.